X. A little late ahead. A couple audio hookups that were just easy fixes. There's like 80 buttons I gotta hit, and sometimes I only hit 78 of them. Better. You've seen the podcast and learned the best way to teach a kid is by exploding limbs or something. Yeah, I had it ready to go earlier today. I just kind of skipped my mind. Well, kind of. It took me a little while to get all the picture stuff settled. I couldn't find a picture of a fridge I liked, and so I ended up making it myself. It's the second time? No, I've done 2 in SFM, but one of them was only half SFM. Podcast pictures. But I've been meaning to go back to the earlier episodes and change to the current format too.
I was about ready to say what you were doing, and then I realized you're not broadcasting it yet.
Don't.
It's going to be a surprise, this dragon.
Yeah. Actually, I keep forgetting I have to go finish that boat one. It's like, all I have to do is like 10 minutes of work. I just keep forgetting it's a thing.
You should have the dragons make out. They're in a love boat. The love boat.
What makes the love boat?
Just one. For 2. It's either a love boat or like somebody's
What
like
if it was
hijacked it.
Is
somebody out there fishing in it? Is that what's happening?
Well, why a swan for a love boat?
People think swans are pretty.
Pretty sure they're probably assholes. Oh, clumsy.
Probably.
They're birds. I don't know of many birds that aren't assholes.
Penguins.
Are you sure?
The penguins cannot possibly be assholes. Look at them. They're adorable. They are. I like penguins.
You said before you'd like watch the whole documentary about penguins.
I've watched lots of documentaries about lots of animals. It was the one thing I could always turn on in like our household that everybody could watch and not be upset about by one way or another.
Anyways, hello, happy Friday. It's the weekend finally. Unless you have to work the weekend, then it's still the weekend, but not as fun. This is the face. If I got scheduled on a weekend, this is the face I would definitely have.
My face would be more of a no, that's not happening face.
It'd be more like
Give them an inch, they'll take a mile. Yes, it'd be more of that. Like no, just no. There you go. Because I feel if my boss asked me to come in and work on a weekend, that would just be the start of a very bad trend.
Yeah, that'd be more like Michael, we need you to come in on Saturday. He'd be like, what are you doing? Video games.
Yep.
Lots of video games. It's very important.
You gotta value your time, man. Oh, I don't know. Her eyelashes escaping.
Is that a mix? No, it's because of wide.
Figured it just because her eyelashes are fake.
Yeah, it's her. I think she's the only one that has
The big
a line that goes like that. Most of the horse. This is, I believe. Oh no, did he do a separate model for this? Oh, it is. he did a separate model for the black part. A lot of them just texture it.
Yeah. And that does.
Well,
make
no, you
sense.
can't. You can't do that now that I think about it. But anyway, oh no, you can. But normally it would stretch it in some way or another to get it down there. But because of how some of the upper bits would work, so that probably works better. But apparently hers is not done well. But I'm putting wide with closing, which is kind of counter. I was hello. Penguins would probably stab you for a fish. Are we talking like the Batman villain one? Because then probably he'd stab you with like an umbrella.
I feel like a penguin couldn't do much.
I don't know, like what came about where they said, okay, we have a new villain. He's like a penguin and he's short and he's chubby. What weapon do we want to give him? And somebody in the back just like finishes their bong hit and says, "Oh, an umbrella."
Hey, man, like they were probably watching some of those James Bond films where you always had like to do with a cane. It would turn into a gun. Saw that. I think it's cool.
If Penguin moved around like that one assassin in Cowboy Bebop, he was like, "Ha ha!" and he would like spin around in circles.
Oh, that guy was terrifying.
That guy was terrifying. His version in the live action was not. It was crazy, but it didn't have that bounciness that the original one had. I used to work weekends, so avoid Mondays. Okay. Actually, if I had a schedule where I was off like Friday, Saturday instead of Saturday, Sunday, I would actually prefer that. I mean, I already have every other Friday off, but like if I had the 5-day weekend thing, I would choose that instead because it makes it super nice for doing appointments and stuff, because some places are like Monday through Friday only, and I'd rather have that as long as you get your 2 days and one of the days in the weekend for like hanging out with people. Maybe weekends are free for the last time this year. Oh, I haven't worked a weekend in probably 14 years, something like that.
That's probably roughly what I've
Well,
been to.
I've had to randomly do certain job stuff on the weekends,
Yeah.
but I haven't been scheduled or told to
Right.
work on a weekend. Oh, no.
My previous job used to actually tell me that I had to do mandatory overtime, and I would tell them no. I would tell them no every time. And when they actually started to ask, he's like, "What can we get you to do overtime?" I'm like, "Ask me. And if I'm free, I'll do it. You tell me to do it, I'm not going to be here. Because that's my time, not yours."
Yeah. Guys just had that problem with them doing the mandatory overtime. At least they pay time and a half.
Sure.
But I think it's only over 40. But weekends to me are not just overtime. If you want me to work an extra hour in the day, sure. Have me come in on another day, that's a different story.
No, I don't like the idea of being told I have to work outside my normal schedule. Because that's the time that is for me. And if I want to come in and work, then that has to be my decision. Not theirs, not anybody's. It's about valuing your time.
Yeah, but that's just dependent on the employer. Because...
Well, if they're going to fire you because you're not going to work overtime, then they must not... I kind of doubt that's going to happen if they need people working overtime. The last thing they need is people leaving for their normal time. So, honestly, you hold the vast majority of the cards in that situation.
Kind of depends on the job.
suppose.
This job market, probably not. You could probably push on it, but no, maybe, because if they can get people in easily, then no, you have no power.
Well, I suppose I haven't worked a job that's been non-skilled labor in a long time, so...
That make Wednesday or Monday. Weekends are free for the last time here. I love working Mondays and taking penguins in Madagascar. I don't know if I've seen that. Oh, that's I think I know
the
what you're talking
Madagascar
about.
film.
Yeah, the Madagascar penguins. That. Yeah, that was strange. It opened the stream and never clicked on the tab, so I quickly selected a different tab. Then I clicked on the tab after realizing I'd opened it. I started playing the stream, but from the start with glitchy music. The quality cycle to fix the music won't jump to Reddy's face the print time of the stream. Okay, that sounds like you wanted an adventure. Sometimes I work 7 days in a week, as long as you get some kind of overtime for it. Because having, like, I work salary, I don't get any overtime, but because of government requirements, I can't work over 40 without some like
a lot of paperwork.
Okay, I released the podcast earlier today, and some Reason podcast is like, we've created a podcast page for you. Nice. Don't care. I don't.
Our
never heard of
podcast
it.
has a page now.
And it's on. Yeah, well, there's the one.
I don't want to actually look at it.
Yeah. Let's see. We have this page.
Oh wow, I've never seen this.
This is the audio version.
By Spotify? We're on Spotify?
Anchor, which is a podcast hosting through Spotify. So if you put it in Anchor, it goes on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and Breaker, Google Podcasts, Podcast Radio, whatever. It's on all those. It takes care of that for you. So
weird.
Yeah, we have podcasts. Okay, so we did some planning stuff last time. Oh yeah, I forgot. She's like super happy.
You want her happy? She's so happy. It's so good. She's so bouncy.
Awesome.
Awesome. Yes, perfect.
I still love that.
Oh no!
Oh,
The dreaded hair.
the hair does do still.
It took some.
I like
tries.
blood. I want to see this.
She's so happy.
She's just constantly swearing. She can't stop. She's just still beeping. Okay, we're gonna stop that. That's annoying. But yeah, so this is basically. Oh, actually, even for all the green shots that I've done before, I do eventually have to go back to these because, well, for one, I think Rarity's a bit bright. But I'll worry about that later. But I wanted to add life to the background, like have some people walking around, make it look like an actual city. Because right now it looks like a desolate town that these six girls have completely destroyed and murdered everybody and live there on their own.
They do live in a hovel. Hovel? It's a hovel. They live in a hovel. Hovel.
Gotta figure out a way to get that closer to you. It's already as long as I can get it.
It's plenty close to me. Mine's as close to me as yours is to you.
No.
I mean, no.
No, mine is closer.
There.
Okay, you touched your thumb. You're good.
Derpy has muffins. Stop. Yes. Rainbow Dash's best Pegasus. Stop.
It's a perfect ending. It is. I'll have to do.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think it's good.
I'll have to do some like credit bit. I usually like putting something because I'll put the patron people's names up at the end. I do want to do it where I need to come up with something to put there too, but I have lots of time to figure that out. Well, kind of. We kind of were able to burn through some of these shots once the lip syncing is done and all that, which it's super. It was one word and it was done for a character.
Darling.
Okay, is this the audio I was going to use for her?
Darling.
It does that.
Sounds good to me, and I can't even hear it.
Oh no, I don't want to. This is because this is the cut one, so it has that middle one has a weird bit. This was my default one I used. So we're gonna go and we're gonna get some more.
I mean, when you think about it, Ponyville's kind of a crappy place to live.
What are you talking about? It seems for a dirt-covered town, it seems pretty clean.
That's the issue.
It seems pretty clean though.
It's got no paved roads. It's got like one bridge. It's a trash dump.
It's one bridge. You're not a quality town, at least unless you have 2 to 3 bridges.
You have to have more than one bridge. I mean, come on.
Because you all can think of is darling while I drive the bus. Are you driving right now?
Pretty sure the town doesn't even have plumbing.
Darling.
Ancient Rome had plumbing.
Darling.
I don't want to use the darlings you have.
No, the middle one is very breathy, and since I didn't have them connected, some of the sound it sounds like a strong cut at one point.
Darling, darling, darling.
This one,
Darling, darling, darling.
I love this, darling, darling, darling.
That is nice.
I'm gonna save that one
Okay.
for now, but I want to check a couple others. Wait, or did I already do it?
I mean,
This darling question, which is what that was. Because I had that error where everything cut. And so I might have already done it.
Darling.
No, that was a single. Okay. So, so we're going to do darling 3. She says it 3 times. Okay. I was wondering why they sound so airy. It's probably just the way that the algorithm works, because if you make it too strong and specific, it might just not work the same. The algorithm itself is just, it might sound airy because it's like drawing out some of the sounds differently, and that's just the way that it's trying to synthesize sound, because it's making it from nothing. So I'm not sure, but if every now and then if you keep trying, you can get those few that just sound less airy.
Darling, darling, darling.
That actually sounded pretty good. Hold on.
Darling, darling, darling.
oh, yeah, I can hear that one. It's,
Darling, darling, darling.
nah, it's breathy.
Darling, darling, darling.
Oh, that
It's very breathy.
Darling, darling, darling.
That one's,
That one's decent,
Darling,
yeah.
darling, darling.
That one's better.
yeah, that's the one I already did. So, okay, I'll try just a couple more. I have a sound control in my head here.
Darling, darling, darling.
That doesn't sound like a question.
Darling, darling, darling.
It's very angry.
Darling, darling, darling. Darling, darling, darling.
The last one sounds really good. The first
The
couple,
first
no.
couple is like kind of breathy.
So glad we have this tech. Not perfect, but it does help a lot. Well, and you're hearing it on its own, knowing that it came from an AI. If you don't really think about it, or especially if you put a background audio in there, it's a lot harder to tell the difference.
Darling, darling, darling.
That sounded really good, but I don't know if it's working the context I'm working on.
Darling, darling, darling.
Actually, maybe.
Darling, darling, darling. Darling, darling, darling.
That one
Darling,
was good.
darling, darling.
That one was also good. They're all kind of good. Straight
Darling.
No, that's okay. I gotta turn that down. It's louder.
Darling, darling, darling.
I do like that one. Sounds super excited, like she's expressing something.
Yeah, but currently I have her like turning her head aside,
Darling, darling.
and that exclamation would not really work with that. So I'm wondering if this would work better.
Darling, darling, darling.
Enthusiasm is
Darling,
adorable.
darling, darling.
I think that one does work better. I'm gonna save that one instead.
Which one?
Oh, thank you, Nullen. It's the weekend. It is.
Woo!
This is a 5 Saturday weekend too, isn't it?
I get to sleep in, but I won't because I never do.
I sleep in usually an hour, but then I stay up an extra hour.
The difference is you set an alarm. I don't. I just wake up
because you're in
and then I'm
pain.
downstairs making waffles.
Darling, darling,
Or some
darling.
nonsense.
Darling, darling, darling.
Like, yep,
Darling, darling,
7:30
darling.
a.m. That's waffle time.
I'm gonna stick with this one.
The happy one, or
Not the first one, the second one. I don't know if it was happy, but
I was like excited almost.
I know. So that's right. We will. So this will require me to readjust.
Gosh, darling.
But
It started as I started typing. It was adjusting, so I heard Applejack go "gosh," and then it said "gosh, darling."
you know, I find something interesting right now because I've been trying to do
Darling, darling.
audio from 15 AI, and I
Darling,
can get it to
darling,
work, but I
darling.
have to exit out of the program and then back in again
For
for the audio to actually work that I transfer. You don't have to do that?
I have to exit out and in only if I have one library loaded because it'll crash me. I never had to do it because it won't play the audio.
Yeah, I've been having an issue where it wouldn't play the audio until I exited out.
When you save it, do you make sure to do 44-100?
Yeah, because that's the default anyways.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I didn't know if there's something else I should be doing.
No, not that I can think of.
I mean,
it should be fairly plug and play.
Darling,
Okay.
darling,
I don't know why then.
Timing's still the same.
darling, darling, darling. Darling,
Yeah, hello, Silver. Yes, it is the weekend. Well, it's kind of the... Friday night is the weekend. Sunday night is not the weekend because you have the dread of the next day already there.
Cool. Yeah. Well, the
Darling
break's nice.
Apple. Well, thank you very much for the resub.
Sunday mornings are nice. Except for when
Any weekend morning is
Well,
nice. And my Fridays I have off. Those are nice too.
Except for when I was a
darling,
kid.
darling, darling.
Because when I was a kid, we
Darling,
had to go
darling,
to church on
darling.
Sundays. And that was
Darling, darling,
essentially
darling.
just another school day.
I wonder if I should do an eye flitter
Darling, darling,
when she goes to like turn her head like that.
darling.
Not like the romantic type, but I just it's rarity.
Is she the romantic type?
No, she's always just trying to be like the overly feminine.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know. I'll figure that out later. I think
Darling, darling, darling.
I can. The
What?
keyframes are already done.
Books,
Yeah, Brady's a pretty cute horse.
books.
All the main six are pretty cute horses.
You see where her hoof goes down to? Okay, that hoof goes down all the way. I don't want to do that. It's mainly because if I actually blend this, she's gonna like throw it to the ground, and then I want to have this be more of like kind of a side glance type thing, which means what I'm doing instead do grab left flag. Yep. And we're gonna playhead it just. Ooh.
Oh no. She is the thing.
There. We're gonna.
She is the thing. Oh no.
Okay, so.
Did you?
Hmm?
Did you just move that into the position you wanted it to, and it just like did an auto?
No, so it's. So this is what I've selected right now, the green area, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
But the playhead is its own thing. So I put the playhead in here. This is where the hoof is then. This playhead slider says change the green area to match whatever the slider is at. But since it's a slider, I can do it by a percentage.
Yeah.
So if I go all the way, it's basically like pasting. But if I do halfway, I'm only getting half of the motion. I do that a lot for cheating keyframes.
Mm-hmm.
But in this case, I want to go all the way to that position to get it up there. Then I want to just dial it back a little bit. Like
These models are far like squishier or something.
here.
It's like Play-Doh.
So now that I'm pulling it out of the way, when this blends, it's not going to go all the way down to here and slam all the way to the ground. It's going to just drop out of frame at a much slower speed because it's got a much smaller distance to pass. Just I could have probably done that afterwards, but it's easier just doing keyframe. Oh, you got a voice impression for Peak.
I've got an engineer from TF2, but he's working on the USS Enterprise. Well, don't give me a challenging one now. It's like God. It's like just turning to Hank Hill. Like so, it's like God. It's like all right. Oh, let's see. It's countryisms. Oh. It's like, all right, we gotta fix this here warp drive. We gotta like take a. Let me make it hard for you. Gotta take a wrench to this here flux capacitor in the warp drive, and that'll give us all the metachlorians we need to get this ship back on track. And then we're gonna install the guns, because when you got the Klingons, you gotta get more guns. And that's how you deal with them, they're Klingons. Did I do it? Did I do good? yeah.
I have no idea what you said at that point.
Yeah. That's exactly what I said. You just weren't listening.
All right, we gotta fix this here warp drive, Mickey. Take a wrench to this here warp drive. Metachlorians and shit. Klingons yup, yeah.
That was really
All
breathy.
right, we gotta fix this here warp drive, Mickey. Take a wrench to this here warp drive. Metachlorians
rough.
and shit. Klingons yup, yeah.
Yeah.
Just the sounded more like a space trucker, but that is what the engineer is. He's a space trucker. Look at him. Look at him. Just look at him. Hot dog wrestling tree frost. Hugging frostbite. Those are words.
I just said, I put the first words that came to my head.
I like when somebody asked him why his profile picture is still Twilight Sparkle, and he replied, "Because she's best pony."
Yeah, cowboys and hot dog wrestling, tree hugging, frostbite, kick ass, wet foam mucking.
I have no idea what he just said.
Yeah, cowboys and hot dog wrestling, tree hugging, frostbite, kick ass, wet foam mucking.
What for mucking? I like the what for mucking.
What foam mucking?
Full mucking.
Yeah, cowboys and hot dog wrestling, tree hugging, frostbite, kick ass,
I'll
what
work
foam
on
mucking.
that. 15 AI into my brain.
Michael should download. Yeah, he'd probably do better.
No, I don't.
I love-
It's amazing. I'm the best.
Like, it's
best.
all his accents are just variations on his Britain accent.
It's like, I'm the engineer. Yeehaw! It's good.
Darling,
I'm sleepy
darling,
today,
darling.
chat, because I got a booster shot for the vaccine. Got me conking out a little bit. I need more alcohol.
They gave him a sucker.
They did. They did have a big bowl of like lollipops there, and I was tempted, but I refrained.
And like, oh, you're like, can I get the sticker?
I feel like that if I had taken a lollipop, I was like, can I have a lollipop? He's like, yeah, but those are mostly for the kids.
You'd be like, can I have two? I'm a big boy.
I am a big boy. I need the mystery flavors, because the mystery flavors are the best, because you never know what you're gonna get. It's true. Okay, it's good.
There we go.
There you go.
Having some issues with getting it to stay up. Told me to generate a voice in his brain and he'll do it. Well, everybody could say, like, I can do it in my head. Well, yeah, that is a thing. But
I have a perfect Jerry Seinfeld up here, but it ain't gonna come out of here.
no, it's your British accent. Just saying it's like,
I'm Jerry Seinfeld. What's the deal with peanuts?
who did you say yesterday
Huh?
did? You said from Ice Age, I think.
Yeah, I thought it was Jerry Seinfeld.
On Ice Age.
No, yeah, instead of Ray Romano.
Darling,
And they're all the same. They're all those 90s sitcom
I
actors.
don't know why it just popped up on my feed, but the guy that played his dad, no, not his dad, his friend, in the show just got married. I don't know why that popped up in my feed.
Which show?
On Everybody Loves Raymond.
Everybody Loves Raymond.
darling,
You know, it's like the bigger, beefy guy. He's like really tall, big guy.
Oh, his brother.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's why I was confused.
that's why I said his brother.
You said his friend.
Oh, okay, yeah, maybe, okay, yeah, I said his friend. Same thing. They're friends.
No, brothers aren't always friends.
darling,
Ugh,
darling,
families.
darling,
Everybody loves Mike. What? Wait, Silver. Doesn't. What about? Does everybody love
Well,
Argo?
it's one thing if you put everybody loves Michael, but you said everybody love Michael.
Everybody.
So
loves
what they do
me.
is you're asking for
Please. I'm so alone.
typing. Your well has 3 L's.
It does. That's for the extra L's in the whales. Save the whales. Not enough whales. Does anybody here have a well? I don't think so.
Sometimes part of my job is actually to be a grammar Nazi. Every month they put out a newsletter, and I get it emailed it specifically to do red line checks because I do a pretty good job of it. So like just checking for any type of grammatical errors or anything, and they're always like, is this a situation we should need a hyphen, or do we use a semicolon here, or how do we do bulleted lists with this and like this? And oftentimes I'm like, you don't, because you're just doing it wrong.
Sounds
like you don't care.
Incredibly boring. No? Fixing grammar?
I feel like fixing grammar stuff is like tiny little hits of dopamine as you find little errors and fix them.
You just like finding where people made mistakes, and then you like playing like, ha-ha!
No, it's
funny.
more of, I like making it clean and concise and improving it. And I like finding all those little things, and it's like having a clay pot that you're molding into shape that has a lot of like bumps and stuff, and you're slowly doing it. I love that type of stuff. That was when I worked in medical. I did documentation. People sent in documents, and I'd have to clean it up like that all the time, and I very much enjoyed that.
You would hate to clean up my paperwork. My paperwork doesn't care about grammar at all.
So there's a lot of dolphins. Thank you very much. High quality strawberry sandwich. Oh, that's. Well, that's better.
Pretty much all the paperwork I write up is pretty much just like H1L1 worn needs replaced, and then just pretty much strings of that.
I don't do much.
Grammar has nothing.
I do some coding stuff. I have to write this big long minutes for a meeting that we have once every 2 weeks. That's like 6 pages long, and it's a lot of filling in gaps and getting that all written, but it's all notes, so it's about shorthand stuff, just recaps, so I don't have to worry too much on that.
Everything I write up is about conveying information in the simplest, quickest way possible. So grammar has no bearings on any of my paperwork.
Let's see if I can have the head just add a little bit of snap here, just a little shorter one. What I probably should do before even getting too much into the head, though, is right now she's just A to B. She's just moving between the two. I probably should have her like whole body do a little bit of a thing, because that might be what I'm looking for, and I'm not getting it. And whatever I do, I'm not going to get it. Okay, that's already locked. That should be locked too. Okay, yeah, she's.
It's like, yeah, this dirt is delicious.
Yeah.
You're not gonna put grass everywhere, are you?
Only in the shots that matter, but I heard because of the previous thing, it's already there.
Neat.
Yeah, that looks a lot better having that dip. I'm about to do the dip. I don't even have to worry about this leg, but I'm gonna do it anyway because it bothers me. Did Trixie ever get that raise at the taco bucket? I don't know. Maybe we can make, if we ever have a Twitch Directs in the future, we can always have a Trixie taco bucket video.
I'm pretty sure she burnt down the taco bucket. Whether it was on purpose or by accident is anyone's guess.
On Twitter, a little while ago, I don't know why everything's loading really slow for me on the internet today. Our internet's going fine. It's just.
I love how technology and the internet is getting faster and faster, but it still finds ways to basically run like molasses.
No, so I did this tweet like on the 18th, and what it actually was meant to be was an advertisement for the stream, but I forgot to put the text on here and on YouTube, and it had way more likes and whatever, but a lot of it was she didn't get her raise and she started fighting. It was the YouTube one has a bunch like that too, and so I was like, so I stopped advertising the stream on Twitter because I would post the GIFs, but because of it being an advertisement for stream, and most people probably didn't click through on Twitter anyway, it didn't get much traction, a lot of these. So I decided to just post the GIFs, but now I'm just adding other context, not stream. So if you go down, like here, it's like stream time and it's 34, and then here stream time is 44. But then if we go up to the ones that I stopped doing that and I just started doing it on its own, yeah, I am become Apple 175, Save Horse 526, Science 897. So I'm like, it actually advertises my Twitter better if I don't advertise for the stream.
People don't like being advertised to.
Well, they sharing it then feels like you're sharing the link to a Twitch, not the GIF. So I'm doing this instead and asking a question, and it helps engagement too. So yeah, I'm just doing that now. I haven't posted one in a couple days. I need to do that again. But yeah, it's surprising how different that is. Because I think I was at 20.6 follower, 20 or 10.6K followers for the longest time, and now I went up like 70 or 80 in the last couple days just because of that. So yeah, screw everything. What do you mean by
if you keep that up, I'll follow you.
Back around there, don't know how much of a raise she would get. She wasn't even getting paid. I have no idea what you just said, Sunset. Are you moving her leg proportions somehow? How are you doing that? Are you talking about the Trixie thing?
I think he was talking about when you moved the leg, you kind of got it all lined up and looking good.
Oh, this? Are you talking about this part?
The part you said was it getting annoying you, and then you fixed.
Oh yeah. If it's this part, and hello, John Cole. I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing? I hope you're having a fantastic Friday. So if I go to do a motion in this case, I needed her to bend down. Actually, let me just undo the motion and I can redo it. So I just wanted her to bend down. As long as I know exactly, and I do not change anything about the areas that I change, I can kind of manipulate the rest of the stuff. If you're not using a rig, I don't use a rig because the rigs are pretty crap for the pawns. So in this case, I want to just have her dip a little bit. So I locked the two thighs in the back, because if I were to not have those locked and I did it, I basically would be bending it like this and then bending the legs forward again. It's kind of a waste. So because I'm not actually pulling back at all, I just lock them. So I want to have her bend down a little bit, just like that. And now the leg will kind of break for a sec. But as long as I do not change the fall offs or the size or anything, the area that I've selected, basically can just readjust this to match. So in this case, I'm just going to bend this up a little bit and this forward a little bit until it just looks like it matches. And it will it's about 95% correct now. If you start having really, really complex motions, like if I go here, which is crossing over, and have another motion, and then I go to here and do another motion, then it won't, because what I'm doing right here isn't the exact same as what's here, and isn't the same exact thing as here, because now there's this hump in the middle. So for moving between from one keyframe to another, it's 100% doable, and that's why I do that for keyframe transitioning. But if I'm going to do anything more complex than that for motion, I will just build that into the keyframe. So little dips and tucks and stuff I don't worry about. Especially right now, it doesn't matter at all because I can't see her legs. I just did it because it's like 15 seconds, and it just helps my brain not just look at it and go like, something's wrong with that. Animation is so fun. It is. It can also be immensely frustrating and time-consuming and a test of your patience, but it is fun. I'm doing good. Figured I would pop on before I stream. Oh, well, thank you very much. Good luck yourself.
Hello.
Oh, yeah, I'll be doing it for another 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't want to have one of her legs phasing through one of the other legs. Well, maybe. Defining physics sounds like fun. Hello, machine. Just to make sure I'm not missing anybody. Headshot surgery, that was fun. Taco Bucket 2, Trixie's greasy sequel. Yeah, I don't know if I like the way that was said. But thank you for the follow, Shama, and thank you for the resub, Night Nation. Let's go. That is a lot of O's.
It's
Almost it's more O's than Silverhead
sure,
L's.
that is an inappropriate amount of O's.
Is it?
It's
It is odd. It's 7.
odd.
It has a center O.
Yes.
Especially when you add one keyframe and it completely breaks everything. Thankfully, the one thing I think that time has taught me with working and doing a lot of this is because I'm not using a rig, I have to do the keyframes correctly and as close to the first time as possible. And I've gotten pretty good at knowing what I need to do for keyframes and not miss something. Or if I do miss something, that it's pretty easy to fix. So normally it's adding a keyframe when not using a rig is impossible. There's no way to really do that. If I had a rig, it'd be a lot easier. Then I could kind of keyframe in the middle of it. That's why I like working with Rathlos. But because I'm not, I just have to do what I do.
Darling, darling, darling. Darling, darling, darling. Darling, darling, darling. Darling, darling.
So I want to have her, I think, pull back a little bit on her position. But I don't want her left leg coming down, so we're going to keep that up. Do like that.
Darling, darling, darling. Darling, darling, darling. Darling, darling, darling.
Okay, it's a little bit of a slide. That's fine. It's I can add some extra motion to make that work. Anyone have a link to the pony rig though? I don't even know where it is anymore. And I got a version of it that somebody was working on but never released that's slightly better, but not really all that much. I poked at them for hours and hours once, just trying to figure out like how do they work, and I kind of learned that. But most of the issues with the rig, I don't think are the rig. It's the model shaping. Maybe the new models would work better. I haven't tried it on there. It's just disappointing that I have little patience. Yeah, that does make it hard. You have to it teaches you patience if you have the patience to learn about patience. What? I see Silver wants to stab me. That's great.
Yes.
Do you go back and look at your own work or just like blah? No, I steal my work all the time. I have in my user mod here.
Steal your work.
I have a DMX folder. This has all like a bunch of random exports for stuff that's like that I've downloaded or whatever. But what I also have is videos, and so these are per pony exports of the to DMX, so I can just import the animation from any video that I've done. And the reason is for this one, I made it public, so you can actually right now, it's on DeviantArt if you Google around. It's like V3 I'm on, I can't remember, and it's just a bunch of exports of DMXs. You can take them, use them, copy paste them without credit. I gave a full release on there. You can have fun with it. The other reason though is I steal from it all the time. If I know that I need to have, like, for instance, in this one,
Wait, you already had a cart full of apples and you made a new cart full of apples?
I'd have to reposition every single apple. I can't just copy over like 1,000 different positions. Okay, so here when Derpy is looking around, the animation she uses, she kind of like lifts the leg and looks around. If I go now to chemistry, and I look at Shining Armor, it's the same exact motion. That is literally the look around that Derpy did, and I just had him do it here. Because why redo it? It's literally just an animation to have them turn around. I use that again in this one. When she goes to crush his head, this is the Derpy animation again. I just modified a little bit to have the head shake and have him look up. Otherwise, it's the exact same animation. Why redo your work? I steal from my crap all the time. A look around doesn't have to be unique every time. So I am a criminal. I'm going to sue myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to process our information in my brain so I can learn more about animation and learn about it from other people too, so I can do stuff like that someday. The best way to learn is not just because if you watch something, you're not going to retain it. If you can do it yourself, even roughly, that's where the retainment comes in. It's like if somebody says like, oh, like I don't know how to get somewhere, and like, well, let me drive and I'll show you. It's better if you say I'll drive, you show me, because it's just you have to do it yourself a little bit. What is a rig exactly? I do 2D animation, so AI. So a rig is essentially it. Right now, all the models we're running on would be FK, or free kinematic. It means that if I grab any bone and I churn it, everything moves. Everything that is a child to that bone just goes, it moves that direction. But if I go and grab the hoof here and I move it, it's also moving on its own. It's not affecting the parents. What the rig does is it adds inverse kinematics. And what that means is if I move a foot, other parts of the model will try to follow along and move with it, which means that if I were to move the foot forward, it will bring the whole leg up and try to adjust to positioning to make it work. I use the Rathalos for it on his legs. Like you can grab the pelvis and push it down and the legs will actually like squat for you. Well, right now, like with Applejack, if I were to push it down, she's got her legs locked, so she just becomes a monstrosity. So
just like before.
So yeah, that's kind of I think the main difference there.
You wouldn't be able to do that lovely pose. What is happening? Poor
Hello,
Applejack.
lady. Hello.
She's having an off day. No, poor apples.
So that's really what a rig is. But the current rig, it will cause these two bones to kind of collapse backwards into the balls of the foot, because right now this is shoulder, elbow, and then hand. Well, these are considered toe. So this is the actual lock point, not here. So when it goes and bends, it will like a paw look. And I don't like that. The back legs work pretty good, but I can only go down so much because it's locked right here. So if I need them to squat more, normally that's where you have to reposition the legs and everything. And it's just, I find it. I know FK better right now, so I just keep with it. And normally for the stuff I do, I'm fine. If you're doing super complex motions, all a rig does is speed up the stuff you do, not really make it better. I've heard of bow-legged, but that is ridiculous. She's bow-backed. She's bow-backed. Practice. It is. Wait, what? Derpy animation? Oh, that was Destiny. I made that in 2013. That's old.
It's been a while since you made a good derpy animation. Maybe more.
See, here's what you're saying. Derpy is subtly infiltrating several other animations. Kind of, I guess. I've taken a lot from that animation because I put a lot of... It was one of the first videos I did that had a lot of detail. That and the Photoquester video, Leaving the Stable, I've stolen a lot from both those. Because early on, it was just... I made a lot of custom stuff, and now I don't need to. Breeden is putting animation excuse himself. Case thrown out by judge. No, probably... They'd award me victory, and I'd have to pay, like, both lawyers because I'd just be stupid and got two. C# learning that in Java at the moment. Reading code does nothing for me. I have to do it myself. Oh yeah, well, at least C# and Java are similar. Well, every programming language is 70%. It's like 30% syntax and 70% thought process. So you can always be like, I know exactly what I need to do in this coding language. I just need to figure out the syntax to get me there. That's what it comes down to for me for a lot of stuff, is just learning the tools that you have and making that work. And you know, when I joined the stream, I wasn't expecting to see that. Count me pleasantly surprised. She can do lots of stuff. She can do
she can be used as a table now. So you go and get all the leaves in the highest trees.
Oh, I think what I can do here.
There's some sort of logic behind this.
Oh,
Oh no!
wrong horse.
She boof. Seems legit. She's like an old-fashioned bicycle, but a pony. Tiny head.
She got a front butt.
I was gonna say she does have a front butt. She's showing it to Rarity. No.
Howdy, howdy. Come on in, Rarity. She's like.
Just the hat. Just the hat remain.
Fixed her. I understood my power,
beautiful.
darling. Oh, flitter. That was Monster Hunter Rise. I saw you were on there. That we played that back when it came out on Switch. Gotta go back because we never actually finished the last boss, but
We fought the monkey.
all right, see you later, John. You probably already left, but see you later anyway. Why use tail extension when you could use body extensions? Exactly.
Wait, John was here?
No, different John. There are more than one John in the world.
There's only one John that I am aware of. Everyone else is an imposter.
The head boppin' or boppin'. There.
They're bopping, booping.
It's to me like adding a little bit of like the head being pulled down really can add a lot of detail without having to actually turn the head.
Darling.
So now I need to blend this one. Patterns. That.
Darling.
Just be a little bit quicker.
Darling. Darling. Darling.
You mess around with the rigs while animating and not think that you are just wasting time to finish this project. No, have fun. Like, if all you did was work towards like that end goal of nothing more than getting a video done, oh my god, I would burn the hell out so quick. Half the fun is just messing around with things. And don't think I don't do this in my own time. Sometimes I've had it where I'm like, what the f is that? And then I just play around with it. Plus, by messing around with that, you can learn a little bit about like how the models work and how they bend and what happens with stuff. You learn everything is a lesson.
As soon as the stream ends, though, I will like start screaming at him to make all the horses and demanding lots of boops. It happens. I'm very cruel. Why is that pony not being booped right now?
She's booping her chest.
That's not the same. She needs to. Look at that snoot. It's gone unbooped for too long. It's a crime. Crime is what it is.
We're just gonna do the same thing as I did before. I'm just gonna bring it down. The nice thing with this is, as long as this is still orange, I can adjust it however I want. So I can take a look. Even if I had to have this leg fixed at some point, I can at least see the timing.
Darling, darling,
So like, no, the timing isn't what I want there. So let's try this.
darling, 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 darling,
That's
darling.
better. Maybe a little bit there.
Darling, 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 darling.
Okay, this is where I'm going to have to probably do a complex motion that I wouldn't want to do normally, but because her leg is invisible, I don't care. So I'm going to bring it up, but it's not going to really matter.
Darling, darling,
But at the very beginning of this,
darling,
just beforehand, I actually, just ever so slightly, I want to bring, like, kind of leave her body behind a little bit.
darling, 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 darling,
It's not much, but it's about
darling, 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 darling.
It's about giving her like the what do they call that? Like the anticipation emotion.
Darling, darling, darling.
And I will definitely need to do some extra stuff there. I'm not gonna worry about the leg on that one. I don't think it's gonna really affect it that much.
Darling.
Thing I thought was this weekend was postponed.
What was?
I was reading chat. I was trying to figure out what he's talking about. Kite. He says, "Hey Argyle, yes, Argyle. Hey Argo, Michael got distracted."
What was this weekend? You feel like you have to one up each video better than the last one, and would trash it if you don't think it's good enough. I don't think I'd ever trash it, but I wouldn't be happy with the end result. I have had videos where I've canceled it because I just didn't like the direction it was going, but it wasn't because of the quality of what I was doing. It was because I just thought it wasn't going to end up that great. But normally I'm very early in the process for that.
The Ministry
I always-
was one you got pretty far into.
I always feel like I have to one up myself, but when it comes to shit posting, I have a lot less of that feeling. So that's why I've been doing more comedy stuff, because there's not as much stress about trying to make something amazing. Because I feel like if I made an emotional video, people are going to say like, well, it's good, but it's not Remembrance. And the only way to not get that is to make it better than Remembrance, which is a very difficult feat to do. So I'm just afraid of the comments and I just don't want to deal with it. So then I just don't make serious stuff. So there's, I guess, in that way,
Darling, darling, darling. Darling, darling.
I just want shipping videos again.
Darling.
See, I always feel like I need to one up myself, but I'm better about it than probably most people in regards. But shit posting, I just don't care, because it's about just making some kind of crappy fast anything anyway. Or if it ends up being kind of rough around the edges, whatever.
Darling.
Like one of my favorite parts of the rocket surgery video, it was super cheap animation. It was puppeteered. So like here when he's like, no, that's animated, but then when she says yes, this is just puppeteered on the head. Like all I do is grab the head and go, There's no other body motion. Same with him here. And that, so was it like Uncanny Valley? Well, it wasn't probably Uncanny Valley, but it wasn't the same quality as the rest of it, but that made it better. So something like that.
Darling. 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 Darling.
Technically this is a shipping video.
How is it shipping?
Because they're all confessing their undying love for one another. It's all in the subtext.
Darling.
Like she's like, Applejack, darling, I darling, darling, darling. Applejack's like, apples. She's like, darling.
Yeah, and then books.
And then books. Because Twilight's gotta be the third wheel.
Darling. Darling.
Come on, Twilight. Can't you see they're in love?
Darling.
So weird.
Figure out how to, like, her head still feels a little stiff, but it might just be me.
Darling. 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 darling,
Then do like before. We're gonna drop the head a little bit.
darling, 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 darling.
Remembrance is my favorite comedy, SFM. Can't wait to see your next one. It's funny because she gave up immortality for her 5 like bumpkin friends. Who does that?
Darling, darling,
Still, after reading some of the comments in regards, I find some of the different fan theories on that video better than my original context.
Yeah, but the ones you like better are the ones that are super depressing. Like, even more so.
Well, no, they're
She's
both
essentially
depressing.
just committing suicide.
Well, and the other one is that she brought all of her friends back to life so that they can enjoy life without everybody they ever cared about, except for this small group.
I would only be mildly irritated if somebody brought me back to life. I'd be like, oh, all my family and friends, or, well, no, my friends are here, so my family's dead?
Some of your friends.
Yeah.
Only that one group.
It's
Everything you know is gone.
The important thing is...
Nobody cares about Gilligan's Island.
The important thing is, was Weird Al also brought back from the dead?
No.
Oh, well, then why the heck did they bring me back to the hell?
You talk to
without
Twilight.
people I care about. It's like, she should have brought Weird Al back, too. How can you live in a universe without Weird Al?
darling,
It's madness.
darling, darling, darling.
No, I mean, I think some people have their heads frozen just for that very thing, so they could be brought back in like some distant future
No,
where they figure out.
to me,
freezing
when
dead.
I'm dead, I want to be dead. I don't want to have some chance to come back for some random crap.
As a cyborg?
No.
Why not?
Because the only way that would work is if my consciousness wasn't broken between then and now, which means in that entire time, I would have to be alive in some way.
You'd be like flash frozen, like bird's eye vegetables.
But it would be not quite as like sleeping. A lot of those, it more than likely would be like you have died, but now a version of you is now up and walking around. So you, as you are right now, would no longer exist. You like the consciousness you have would be gone. You would just be something that is very close.
It'd still be you if it's still your brain.
No, then what would it attach to? Like there would be a break in the consciousness, and I don't.
I've had a break in my consciousness, like
yeah, it's every
twice.
morning because you just have so many like brain problems.
Like I've legit conked out and time had skipped for me like on 2 occasions. It's not fun, but I imagine being frozen and your head frozen for 100 years somewhere would be similar to that. Just more time will have passed and come back again. I don't know. I'd be up for it. I'd be up for coming back as a cyborg overlord.
Because and what? Okay, so some random guy from the middle of nothing nowhere that just has a nothing job gets flash frozen. They're like, you know who should be our cyborg overlord? Yeah, this guy.
Yeah.
No.
I'm gonna take over.
No,
my
it's
cyborg bits.
No matter how long life is, it will eventually end. All you're doing is prolonging it. So whenever I'm supposed to have it end, I'm good.
I want to play the PlayStation 20 though.
But then what about the 30 and the 40?
That's why I'm gonna become a cyborg so I can play all those too.
But what if society collapses and there's no? But you don't even have a PlayStation.
Yeah, but I'm gonna get one in the future after I'm a cyborg.
With all your cyborg money.
Yeah. Like, think about it. If you put your money away in like a trust, and then you wake up
trying to be
100
Fry?
years later, yeah, like you'd be rich.
No.
What do you mean no?
You put it in a trust, but what if that bank collapses? What if the society collapses? What if that government is overthrown and something else takes over?
Well, then I'm gonna have to really do my work after I come back as a cyborg. Like,
Yeah, you're gonna go back to
Sure.
working at like the same job.
Darling,
wait, society collapsed, my job is still there. That's amazing. It's like society has collapsed. What will I do? It's like, well, the McDonald's is still open. Somehow.
Well, because they took over.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Darling, darling, darling.
Just not ready for my semi-benevolent cyborg rule. Some will have to be made examples of, but we do our best. Only overlord, yes. Yeah, think about that. What if there's like a future where they genetically engineered magic horses? Don't you want to be in that future?
What if they didn't? What
Well,
if they
then-
outlawed My Little Pony?
Well, that is something to go to war over, isn't it? Now,
You'll come back to start the revolution.
now that my arms can morph into cannons, it's gonna be good old.
You're gonna be like, oof, that was rough. I can't wait until I have some good old Cincinnati chili. They're like, Cincinnati hasn't existed for 150 years.
No, it's fine as long as the chili survived.
It was the first to go.
Not surprising. Do you carry a notebook of future MLP animation ideas? Just wait. Oh, didn't you hear? They're gonna genetically engineer the horses, and then they're just gonna like videotape them living out their lives.
Darling, darling,
It'd be
darling.
great.
Darling, darling.
Be like you're just gonna watch a episode of Survivor 47, and it's just gonna be horses. That's the future.
Darling,
Future's fantastic.
darling. Darling, darling. Darling, darling. Darling, darling, darling. Darling. Darling, darling, darling. What?
Pretty good on that. Do you care about big future MLP animation ideas or just wing it? He knows it all. He forgets everything else because his brain is just remembering every single frame of a pwn.
Yeah, it's true.
Resurrect you until they notice your MLP addiction, which would cause not good results. They probably have that on file because it's half his life. Probably
Like-
3/4. What if Sled cut laps so hard that the ponies felt it and had to intervene by crossing over into our universe?
Sounds like
That
a
would
fan fiction.
that would also sound like I think the biggest confusing thing would be that what connection did Lauren Faust have to that other dimension to be able to recognize and to replicate in so much detail something from another universe? That would also call into question.
Books?
She could sense it. She has otherworldly powers.
Pure coincidence. I mean, it's not. I mean, the teleportation magic and stuff probably not gonna come because there's physics, but
Well, they create wormholes with their horns.
okay. So when they
Besides-
teleport, what happens to the atmosphere left behind? Because now they have completely removed themselves from existence.
Yeah,
Therefore, the air that was within an area is now in a vacuum.
yeah.
So the air has to collapse.
I imagine it's the same thing that happens to my gut after I release a massive fart. It just becomes a vacuum.
No, that's when she comes back out. That is
Yeah.
the teleport part.
She farts out.
Yeah.
And like your stomach just goes. It's gonna be
that-
like the atmosphere.
I can't remember. I watched somebody that did something about teleportation in there. That was always one thing that bothered me too about teleportation. Of you have to displace the air that is around you. So if you were to remove yourself, or to suddenly, probably even more dangerously, pop into existence somewhere, you're going to send a shock wave outwards from where you are, which also means that you have to start from an infinitesimal point and expand outwards. If you just appeared into existence, you would be on top of the air, and therefore you would die because your atoms would have become like on top of the exact atmosphere that you just. There's so many.
Unless
Well, you have
the
a lot of-
atmosphere got pushed away in every direction as you were teleporting in.
But it would have to know exactly where you are, which means you would have to start from an infinitesimal point and expand outwards.
Mm-hmm.
If you just popped up there, it would have to know what area to clear out to put you in place.
Horse magic.
It is how you explain a lot of it, yeah.
I mean, that is the perfect explanation.
Hello, Joshua. Like, that's what happens to my cat when I release him as a fart. There's no context there.
You don't need it.
In German legend, Faust is a person that sells their souls for unlimited knowledge and worldly pleasures. Ooh, worldly pleasures. Into the Ponyverse. There you go. One of the idea. No, I love thinking about the physics of superpowers because none of them actually work. Like super strength. Like I can lift this giant rock. Well, yeah, but there's balance. So if you picked up 1,000 pounds with one arm, you have to balance it out with 1,000 pounds on the other side, or even if you could lift it, you're just going to fall over. Or you would have to have invulnerability too, because that rock is still going to be putting pressure on flesh and bone. You're going to break something, even if you had the muscle power to do it.
Have you seen those super heavyweight lifters? Those guys are crazy.
Yeah, I know, but their bodies are trained to do all that, and they have all the muscle to support it. But I'm saying if you just had 1,000 pounds in your hand.
But if they also had like gamma radiation on top of that, like
it's the Hulk.
Yeah, he's super strong.
The Hulk. He's super strong. He's just a bodybuilder with indigestion.
Yeah,
So he's all green.
He's got jaundice.
That's yellow.
This makes you yellow. He has it bad.
He's just it's just they tint the screen so they don't know.
Did he become the Hulk? He turned green. No, that's just the sign of his liver failing and from the radiation, you idiots. He's dead. It's like, oh, no superpowers.
It's like the mayor from Family Guy.
Yeah.
And they're like, I shall gain superpowers as well. And he rolls in nuclear waste and it just falls up immediately with, you have cancer.
Yes.
Oh.
Cancer now.
How'd you get that? Well, I rolled into nuclear waste. Well, what do you think was going to
That
happen?
was dumb.
Our fast soldiers so from limited cupcakes and harmony. Thus MLP, I was going to say MSP for some reason. I like that idea. That would be ponies from other dimensions. The Hulk has liver failure, not gamma radiation. You heard it here, folks. Liver failure. How much is he drinking?
Man, I mean, your liver's gonna get pretty messed up if you get pelted with a bunch of radiation.
You see, now the hoof doesn't drop so fast. It just kind of slides out of the way. Yeah, that doesn't... It used to be because, like, the superheroes are brought about where radiation causes changes in your genome, and they're like, oh, but it could add superpowers. And it's like, well, yeah, but that's like saying that if you had all of Microsoft Windows and you just literally threw random zeros and ones in everywhere, that it would suddenly make it more powerful operating system.
They made a superhero like that.
No,
It's called Freakazoid.
no, that it doesn't make any sense. The radiation, could it give somebody superpowers? Yeah, actually, if there was a way to manipulate the genome in such a way that it would enhance the human body, there is a chance. But the probability of it is so astronomically low that it will never happen. Like, it would, to have a billionth of a billionth of a billionth of a chance. That's no. And no, you're just gonna get cancer.
You're also probably gonna start cooking a little bit, depending on the amount of radiation you
If you got superpowers, though.
Yeah.
Good superpowers, not like crappy ones.
Freakazoid. I don't remember Freakazoid.
Books?
He downloaded the 90s internet into himself.
I think it was Pika when the WB was doing a thing where they were selling original prints from some original cartoons.
Yeah.
And they went there and he bought one of the original prints that was done for Freakazoid, like one of the original ones that they put on television. Like the one I think they were still doing the picture thing, and but he had one of the original prints of the original show.
That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I can't remember what the shot was, but yeah, he got one of those from Freakazoid.
Freakazoid was an interesting show because all of like in the 90s, everybody believed that the internet was going to create a future of super intelligent, well-read people who had access to all the internet.
No, now we have TikTok.
But Freakazoid was essentially a character who just memed and would ramble on about nonsense for hours on end. And it's like, that was correct.
Yeah, he was correct.
The show was correct when everybody else was wrong.
There's no neutral bone on this one. It's like books?
Books?
Books. I already read a book once. It was awful. Besides Twilight. Yeah, I feel the rest of them just don't know how to read. Especially Applejack. Especially. I guess they were used to write in the journal in the second season. But...
Yeah, but they probably had to help Applejack.
yeah. It was super cute when they wrote with their mouths, though. They needed more of that.
I feel like you can't do a good look with these without going kind of weird.
I used to think it would be impractical or near impossible to actually write with your mouth. But then I saw this very inspiring fellow who didn't have use of his arms and would draw this really nice art with just his mouth. It was quite the sight.
There's a guy that he played professional. It was a fighting game, Mortal Kombat. I think he played it like as in competitions, and he actually won a lot. But he didn't have ability to really use one of his arms. He had a severe disorder, and so he plays by using I think it was his hand or his foot for one, and his mouth for the other. And I don't think you can get your foot and your head together, but I think it was his one hand and his mouth to use the rest. And he plays like good, like really good. It's all about knowing how to use what you have, and I think that guy is super inspiring.
Making the best of it.
Books?
With that. There is a pop pawn. There's pop pawn. There's a stupid face. What tool do you use to make the animation look smoother again?
To make everything like blend together.
It depends. Round and smooth. So smooth is just a lighter version of round. So round will, if I have, let's say, like I have this, yeah, if you want to grab one of the dark ones that are in there, not the pistachio ones.
Do you want me to rinse that out?
Nah, that's what you don't need to. To find some bone on her that I can move here. I'll get to that stupid face in a second. I want to prioritize stuff. Oh, okay. There we go. I wanted to be able to see the line. So if you have like this, if I do round, what round is going to do is it's going to say at its extreme, make the beginning basically go and completely connect to the end, and then kind of just smooth out the edges. So if I round these, you're going to see it's going to basically, the whole line, connect these for the most part. If I do smooth, it's going to kind of do the same thing, but if I started getting into like different complex motions where, let's say it was like this, if I do a round over this area, it's going to completely eliminate all that motion. But if I do smooth, it's going to try to maintain that motion, but just smooth out the hard edges. If the edges are very far apart, like if there's a lot of distance for them to travel, the smoothing doesn't work too well. A lot of it is where there's just little small bumps and you want to eliminate it. I've had it where like the hoof is doing a little wiggle thing when I'm at one part and I don't really want it to do that. I can smooth it to try to like, so instead of being like this, it could be like this instead. I do that for the hair a lot. So that's the main differences between the two, but they both kind of act the same in some ways.
Books?
Yes, thank you.
My favorite superhero movie of all time is actually V for Vendetta.
Is that a superhero movie?
He's a DC superhero.
He is?
Yep.
I didn't know he's DC.
Yep.
So DC actually came out with a good movie at some point.
At one point or another, yeah.
I didn't know he's a superhero. He kind of is. He's basically like futuristic Phantom of the Opera.
A little bit.
Not always, but in a way, a little bit.
No, I love that movie.
I haven't seen it forever. I love Phantom of the Opera though.
I've never seen it.
Well, it depends. Seeing it is a difficult thing to state. There's like the 70s version of the movie, then the 2000.
Never seen any of them.
But it's based on a live play by Andrew Lloyd Webber. I have seen the 2000 movie. I used to have a torrent that I gotta figure out if I gotta want to get on DVD or something. But I got it. I went and saw it live. The New York show in Minneapolis. It was so good.
I know what the story is. I've heard it. I've seen bits and pieces of like
Peach, give me a poem.
Never watched it.
Yeah, it's been. If the New York show pops up again, I'm definitely gonna go again. It's COVID stuff, so who knows? It was probably like 5 years ago now since I've seen that.
I still need to really see Rocky Horror Picture Show.
I've never seen it either. I know a lot about it, and I've seen lots of pieces. Do you want? Oh, I forgot. I had loaded the audio. Do you want adult like season 1 Luna or
Babysitter Luna?
Or grown up Luna or babysitter Luna?
Season 1 Luna.
Can you make the picture on the right move to a second monitor? Yeah, actually you can. Janice, once it unlocks here. That's season 1.
Java Luna? Oh no, they're not.
Darling. Books?
No, so if you want to do that, you just it's like a tab. You just grab this and separate it, and now you can move this to another monitor. So yes, you can. I've gotten, because I do the streaming thing, I can't really do that. I've tried at one point using it where I separate the animation set editor and having that on a separate monitor, and then having this go across the bottom all the way and having the 2 screens here. But because I spend most of my time streaming what I'm working on, and has to be on one monitor, I'm so used to being one monitor that this is just what I'm accustomed to. But yeah, you can. Season 1. This is an old one, but I think it's the only one.
Yeah, I was going to say there's probably not too many that did the.
No,
oh, that's season 1.
Yep.
I'm
Like,
very happy.
do you like season 1?
It's like my hair was normal. It wasn't crazy. Can you remove her shoes, crown, and net thing? I think that is a tall order because I think you would have to go into Blender to do that.
Can you move her shoes? This model probably. More than likely, it's body grouped.
Oh well, look at that. Fancy.
The more recent ones have been much better about it.
Yeah, I was kind of noticing. I was wanting to use the Big Mac model, but without his yoke. And the only way I could do that was to. Oh, that's neat.
It's just a retexture. There's better ways to do that.
Well, it might be something you can add along with like the particle effect.
Yeah, but you can only turn it on or off. You can't have it
Like spiral up.
You could in post because it's spiraling. You could mask it. That would work. Yeah, to animate it to go top to bottom or bottom to top, no, you wouldn't be able to do that in SFM. You could maybe edit it, animate it, but you wouldn't have control of the animation, which is what I would want to have control of. Let's see if we get rid of her chesticle.
That's one thing to go with. There you go.
There we go. All right, so she's got doing the.
I'm thinking of that one scene from Centaur World now.
So this, he's like,
Yes.
are you a horse? Yes, a horse. Do you like the sun? No.
This one, it hurt.
Like the moon? Yes.
Does the moon give cancer? No. Does the sun give you cancer? Yes, see, that's why the moon is better. Nobody ever heard of moon cancer.
Unless you're Cave Johnson.
Oh, that's right. He did get cancer.
Well, you don't. Did he get cancer?
He's like, no. It's like the whole line was, he poisoned himself. Essentially, he was dying from poison because he took a bunch of ground up lunar dust and put it in his bloodstream. He's like, it turns out pure poison. So he's dying because he essentially poisoned himself. He's got to take the legs. I don't like that Sunny would be under your wee Argo. Monster Hunter World.
We can get rid of her chesticle. I can't do the leg thing. The legs don't. Front legs are easy to do that with, but not her. Luna without her princess armor is interesting. Yeah, and now because now she doesn't look regal. She just looks stretched.
She's cuter.
I want to know how this works. Like, so okay, hair is all about like the strand that goes all the way to the end, right?
Yeah.
So all of this hair has a connection all the way back to here.
Correct. It's compressed closer to the...
I'm pretty sure that means that this is a black hole.
Well, no, the horse's tail actually goes fairly far down the tail. So there's actually a lot. There's actually going to be more hair
What about
further down.
this?
I don't know what that is. But no, the horse's tails aren't just like tiny little nubs. They go a good ways in.
It's called split ends.
Yes.
All right, so what do I want to do with Luna? Princess Luna, Princess we're talking about. She is. Well, then we'll get her a moon.
That is her moon. Well, that's a nightmare moon. Get her just a wheel of cheese. Can you find a wheel of cheese?
I think I do have a wheel of cheese.
Oh, there you go. That's her moon. That's a good moon. Are you thinking about what kind of ghosts it could eat? Womp, womp, womp.
Somebody's got
Lunar cheese.
doing a bunch of stuff. It's just gonna take me a sec.
I have no idea what you're doing.
I know. Sometimes I don't want to have it be visible.
Just sit through this whole stream, think you're doing nothing the whole time, and then all of a sudden hit one button at the end of the stream and like, the animation's
I
done.
did that to Kyle once.
Yeah. Did he think he was going insane?
That was where I did the whatever outfit.
The whatever outfit.
When I put my OC in the maid outfit.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I kind of made it sneaky so that he didn't see I was doing it at the time.
He does like the maid outfit.
Well, no, I don't think he does. It's more of we just made it a joke. And it's just him, like, unable to speak and then just fucking maid.
Oh, great, I have a voice impression. Lunar with a Valley Girl accent. Like, oh my Faust. Okay. Like, oh my Faust, moon cheese is so yummy. Mmm, oh my pony tummy, yeah, yeah, It's like this cheese is got in my hair, and I can't get it out of my hair. It's like all up in my hair right now. That actually works really well. It even looks like a nose. Oh my god, like, this cheese has become me. Like, holy crap. Holy craft. Cheese.
Holy crap.
Like, I'm gonna call my dad and tell him about my head turning into cheese, because this is unacceptable. Shouldn't be okay. Not sure if the point of the cheese is supposed to be your snoot or if the whole thing's supposed to be your mouth. You wanted to fill in that one piece of missing cheese? / moon. Heard they nearly bankrupt themselves, yeah. Shadow. And now they're in trouble. They wanted to have a big non-COVID event. They overspent.
No, they couldn't help. They couldn't not do it. If they
No.
didn't hold the event, they were going to be charged $220,000.
Well, yeah, I get that they held the event, but they ended up, like...
If they didn't hold the event, if they canceled complete, it would have been $220,000.
Yeah.
Or if they did nothing, they would have had to still pay for the venue, but no ticket price.
No, I'm not, like, saying they
They didn't
shouldn't
have
have hold it.
No, they had no choice. So
Yeah. It's just
You're
that
talking truck.
they just didn't have enough people
yeah.
pay for it.
Which
Oops.
kind of makes sense.
No, yeah.
So okay, so there we go. So now do you were doing voices for her?
Like, this is Valley Girl. It's like, oh my god, I made a cheese. Like, look at this. I'm gonna put this on my Instagram. I'm gonna be so famous. Everybody's gonna be like, hey, cheeseheads. We're like a family right now. Like, oh, I'm gonna totally like take pictures with my dog.
I need to do it like a little differently here. That's a little better.
You like the surgery I got? It's like super cheap. I had a good doctor. I told him, give me the cheese, and look what he did. I'm like so fabulous right now. Like, so good, so good.
She's got a good suntan going on.
Yeah. Oh, it's from the surgery. She's just like burned. Horribly burned.
It's
It's like, I'm so delicious.
oh my god.
So yummy.
Happy she is. He's happy to be cheese.
Mm-hmm. She's truly the moon princess that everyone
see?
here wants.
Back in her tail. We are beyond the level of cheese. Cringe? This is cringe? Have you been on Derby Brew?
No.
This is nothing.
I've
Here,
been to the
hold
dog
on.
Reese's candies. No, it's a dog place. Not salmon, yes.
This is where you get the best the fandom has to offer. You just go to Derby Brew, search not salmon, you get some He gets some interesting stuff
Izzy's beautiful.
because it's not Sam. Like, what is this? I don't even know what this is.
It's
Somebody put time into that.
yeah, they did.
Like,
people make this stuff.
people made this. So
Why?
this is the best tag. It's got 1,764 items. Like, what is this?
I think I have a not salmon somewhere.
What is this? I think you do.
I think it's the Cookie Monster, maybe. Oh, that one.
No, it's not. I thought that the one, like, what is this? It's just, it's a great tag. That's where you get some weird cringe, and also just amazing content. That's derpyburu.org. It's, if you haven't known about that website, that's like basically image hosting for the whole fandom. But yeah, if you can search any tag, and if you search "not salmon," it is the best stuff.
Now, I think my Cookie Monster one made not salmon, but not the Crember so much. That one got majestic as F.
Spike San Andreas. Yeah, I think that's what it was from. I like the Bon Bon Plants vs Zombies thing. Yeah, it's just so many weird. So the reason I kind of know that tag is because of
It's fun.
Yeah, it's Rainbow Dash. It's shorthand. Haven't you ever done like?
No, I was typing all of her name.
Oh, I think it provides a little bit more info if you're trying to submit something. It will say something about like, hey, try doing this instead.
What's happening to see, her legs are eggs and they hatched into little rainbows.
But no, there's one I'm looking for specifically. Should be under.
Her head is a fence post.
No, it had to have been too far now. Hey, look at that one. This good stuff. Oh, this is the beefy arm one is a pretty good one.
I've seen that one.
What was the thing of like the no body ponies for a while? I thought it was under this one. I thought that the oh boy face was in here.
Oh,
Like,
you're
look at that
looking-
one. This is some quality artwork.
Yeah, right?
Only the best stuff gets into not saying like
Oh my goodness.
I see what they did, and that's
Horrifying.
amazing. They locked just a bunch of models together and then gave it a walking animation. That's great.
Horrifying.
No, I think it's amazing. I love these. -47. Like, look at this. This is art.
Say so.
No, this is. I'm not seeing it. The oh boy face. Oh, this one was good. Somebody added the Deja Vu song to this one, and that was awesome. I love that. Actually, I had that link. I lost all my old
did.
links. I think I'm the one that made that, actually. Anyway.
Deja vu.
All right, yeah, okay. We did Cheese Luna.
It's pretty good.
Darling, darling. Darling, darling, darling.
I'm gonna try with her eyes here. Right.
Darling.
Do. Okay, they're already partially closed. So one. It's not all the way.
Crush, kill, destroy, swag. That is
So-
some classic.
Yeah, that is old school. No, a little tidbit here. So if you have animation that's going on, like right now, I want to have her eyes closed right here, but she's got animation. If I were to just slide this, you're actually going to, you can see the line kind of get right here at the top. It's going to start getting smooshed up into the top because there's animation. It's going to go until the bottom one gets all the way up, but that means it'll start smushing some of this other stuff. You don't want that. So instead, grab the individual one and use the one, because it will increase all of it evenly to the one, to the max amount, and then stop. That's the better way to do it.
Darling.
see if I can get her to do a little like eye flitter thing, but I have a feeling it's not going to work.
Darling, darling,
That looked good.
darling, darling,
The concern is
How's it gonna look in render?
on a render, what you're gonna get is
Just turn off motion blur and it should be fine, right?
you're gonna get this frame, this frame, this frame where it's now opening again, and this frame. But on a render where you do not fix it, it would probably look more like it would probably look more like this. It probably would not even close all the way. That's where normally when I do post render or post content, I would have to go through here and manually find the frames that have that missing where that's not working. Usually wherever the eyes are closed, and I would have to manually render each frame. I'd go in here, go to let it process, and then export image, and I would replace the frame. It's really annoying. That is usually about an hour and a half to 2 hours of process after every video is made, depending on how long it is. I think Rocket Surgery was definitely a couple hours.
darling, darling,
I can maybe get away with like 2, but that's normally I would like just one frame like this where it's closed, but there is no way to do that. This, even on the whatever render, it's always going to look like this. There's no way to fully close an eye. And you can say like, well, it's okay because it's transitioning between closed. No, this is what people see. They never see it closed. So, well, if I go through here, I see it closed. That's not what happens in render. And I've had people in the comments be like talking about how long the blinks are sometimes, but it's because this is the bare minimum you can do, which is 2 frames to have them closed. You cannot do less than that with motion blur on. If you have motion blur off, sure, but if you have motion blur off, then it's actually there is no transition here. If I do this, there is no transition. It's 1-to-1. There's no fade range. This, there would be some fade range.
darling,
I gotta look in the car.
It's got Rainbow Dash in the car.
Let's get Rainbow Dash in the car.
I don't know what's going on.
Is this the car you're talking about? I'm not sure. Oh, there's barrels back there, but I'm not seeing anything in there otherwise.
I just want people to see my amazing Trixie. Oh, why is that Rainbow Dash biting that man? Oh, it bit Spider-Man. Rainbow Dash bit Spider-Man. I see.
Yeah, and then she became
He became
beef.
He became worse. He got bit by a pony.
Tian Hugh, I don't know what that word means. I have no idea what you're talking about.
darling, darling,
You have to realize we are old. We cannot keep up with the new memes.
darling, 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 darling,
Remember when we started watching the show and we were like in our 20s?
I was late 20s.
No, me too.
No, you were like early 40s. You're not helping yourself by going.
darling, darling, books, darling,
That's all. All right, I can keep the old at bay with whiskey.
The Old Bay?
It's
You
delicious.
can keep the Old Bay with whiskey.
You can keep the old bay with whiskey. That sounds disgusting. And I miss fish.
darling, books, darling, books, darling, books, darling, book,
Just adding a little bit of here to try to.
books,
I think I crossed a little bit too far in there.
You know, I always heard after coming to Minnesota that the walleye trout was really good. But I've not really eaten it anywhere I've been particularly impressed by it.
Well, walleye trout's good if you.
Oh no, we've turned her into an NFT. No.
Darling, darling, darling. Books?
Supposed to.
Darling, darling, darling.
No.
She's from Whoville. She is Bahudores, Bahudores.
Welcome.
Hello, Drap.
NFT.
So changing the key value, that changes the raw values. Was that other value dragged percentage based or something? Oh, so yes. So anything, let me grab a face slider here. Yeah, I'll do this one. So this slider is always going to increase from it's actually, some of these are actually beyond 0, which I can actually show you here. But this slider is going to go, it's always going to increase potentially past the maximum, because it's trying to figure out where the maximum is for the slider, but that might not be where the maximum is in total. So if I put it here, the maximum is different. So, but you can even see here, because some of these values are below 0 right here, because if I increase jaw open, you can actually see that there's values below there, which I should probably fix, because if I don't, it can cause problems in the future for stuff. Oh, that did. Oh, actually, you know what? I have to round this. That was what I need to do.
Not smooth.
Okay. Now that's fixed. Still one in the back here. Let's round that too. So just because you can't see the value doesn't mean it's not below. And that's exactly what happened here. Is this slider right now is I can hit it to 0, but you're seeing it's not moving everything towards 0. It's taking everything and moving it downwards. But that means that some of these values are going to the negative. And then when I go above, or if I keep going up, some of these values are going past the positive. What 0 does is more the percentage thing, is it says everything's current value is its baseline, 100%, and 0 is just going to flatten everything down to 0. But 1 is going to do the opposite. It's going to increase everything towards 1. Depending on what you're doing, 1 might be better than the other. Like, say you just want to increase the intensity of a certain look. Maybe jaw closer is something you want to increase altogether. But more than likely you don't. You want to instead just reduce everything. Like, now this would just be, everything would be like 30% less 0. Or less, not less 0, 30% less closure. So these sliders are going to do more percentage based, while these sliders are going to just, they can be destructive, but if there's already stuff there. Anyway. Not the NFTs. There's nothing wrong with NFTs. NFTs are perfectly fine. If I want to make money and other people did all the work, I could just make a bunch of money off make other people's work. It's great. I can be rich.
It's money for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Just take it from complete fools.
Yeah. And then they don't even need to be a fool. There's plenty of stuff. You just like go on the internet and search picture and then make an NFT. Hell, just take a screenshot of Google.
Yeah.
Yeah, like here.
It's an NFT now.
This is an NFT.
You did it. You made one.
We're gonna save this. This is we're gonna call this Big Monies. All right. Sweet. All right. So now I'm gonna go online. We're gonna upload this one, and it's gonna make me so much monies. It's even got my mouse in there that they know it's authentic. Then I'm gonna be so rich.
But you don't actually sell the picture. You just sell a spot on a server, and that picture is.
I don't care if I get money. The logistics are aside. I'll procedurally get that. That's pretty dang nice, actually. It's nice. Actually, there's a couple different things that are actually pretty nice for that. So, like, like for instance here, when she goes to move into in a position after this motion, so she swings her, she completely stops afterwards. Well, let's say I don't want her to. I want to actually have her move a little bit. Well, I could like grab something right here and then go through and meticulously move all the bones to try to get her back in that position. Or I can use the playhead slider and instead say, what's a position that was already backwards? We'll say this, let's say this, we'll do this one. I'm going to deselect the face because I don't want to modify the lip syncing or anything already done. And I'm going to use the playhead slider. So the green area is what I'm modifying. And then this is where the playhead is. So it says to copy what's in the playhead to the green area. Well, I don't have to do the full thing. I can do a part of it. If I did playhead, it would move everything, but I don't want to do that. I'm going to move it just a little bit. So now I'm moving the entire body a little bit towards that other keyframe, but not a whole bunch. And now she has her motion. She moves from one to the other. And now she has that little backwards motion. The head is now twisting back, but I can just counteract that with a quick little twist back this way. Up. A little bit fast, but now I can say, okay, I don't like, I think it's a little fast, so I'm just going to say, so right now there's some motion that's happening after this point. I'm going to use in. So what that's going to do is it's going to say everything that's at the very beginning of this green area, copy it to everything in the green area. So I'm going to hit in. That's going to get rid of that motion that's there because now it's going to just stop right here. And now I'm just going to round this because it's going to basically say stop the motion early and now flatten it out, effectively slowing it down. That should work. So now I'm just going to add a little bit more like head bounce to it because it removed a little bit from there. But that's what I did now is saving me a lot of time compared to custom moving everything. So I had the position. I just stole a piece of it. I'll be no. If somebody screenshot that picture, you can't do that. That's stealing. You don't do stealing. That's my NFT of stolen work. Can't double steal. No take backsies.
No take backsies. Nah, I get
non-fungible Michaels, NFMs.
I've actually done an unfortunate amount of research in NFTs.
Oh, fuck, that's annoyingly good. A lot of that is recognizing little tricks for stuff. Actually, one of them here's one trick that actually really, really comes in handy. Let's say you have a tile and you're trying to build a floor. It's file game big. Now let's say you have a couple objects. You're trying to build a some kind of a scene build for something, and you're trying to put a lot of different tiles together in that scene build. That can be very time consuming, but you need to make sure that everything effectively. Let me make sure that everything's saved there. Yeah, it's kind of dead. Let's load in another tile here. Is it tile because it's square? I should be able to find a square tile. Come on.
Squares are hard. There you go.
No.
That?
Nope.
Box. Oh, there you go.
There we go. That'll work. So let's say we have
You lost your tile.
I loaded it. I'm in the shot. Okay, so we have this tile here, but they're big. They're big tiles. Boom. Oh, I'm not done. Big tiles. And you're like, and so I'm gonna zero this because I want to have, or its rotation, because right now you can see that this is not really a perfect left and right movement. Because I need to match these up. So I'm gonna zero my rotation. Now, if I move this left and right, it moves it fine. So I'm gonna copy one of these. But now I want to move this to have it perfectly match up with the edge of this one. No gaps at all. Well, I can zoom into here and be like, okay, now I can look at this gap. But the problem is, the slider's over here, but I'm looking over here. And if you get it too close, you're getting the clipping issue. And if you're too far away, that trying to get it to be exactly a match can be difficult to do. What you can actually do instead is get it pretty close. In this case, I'm going to actually go too far so that they are 100% clipping. Lock it in so now it's green. I'm going to move it outside of that area, and then I'm going to zoom in, and we can use the drop slider. So the drop slider is a slider that undoes action. So right now, the action was I moved it from here to here. Well, now I have an entire slider that is dedicated just to moving it this very short distance. So now I can ever so slightly change this slider to get it as close as I possibly can without overlapping, and call it good. Now they're as close as you're going to get. So if you have two things you're trying to get really, really close to each other and you're having difficulty getting that little minuscule amount of motion in, just lock it in a little too far, move it backwards, and then use the drop slider to undo that motion until you slowly can caress it in. The nice thing with this slider too is you can shrink this down, and now your drop slider is significantly larger. That's also kind of a cheap way to do it. But yeah, the drop, being able to undo motion, can come in handy, but do not use it if you have fall offs. If you're trying to, let's say you have a motion like this, and then you're going to use drop to get rid of it, it doesn't work. The fall offs, if their fall offs are linear, sure, but if they have any type of fall off or like gradual bits to it, it just, it doesn't work. So you can kind of do a drop on a motion like that if you do it partially. So I can go a little bit, but you can start seeing where it starts breaking, and so don't do it too much. I'm trying to think about some of the other cheap ways to do sliders. Paste is another way to do it. Paste is the same thing as in and out. It's just you can partially paste something, so you can copy one position from here and then paste it slightly into another shot or something. Playhead in, out, paste, and drop are super. Actually, all these ones at the very top are useful. The only one I don't use these four very often. And splines sometimes, ramp almost never. Round is after smooth, about the only one I really use. Spline is useful if you're trying to blend. It'll blend keyframes together, but you lose control, and I don't like that. So it tries to do basically a smooth at every bookmark, but it's like trying to save time, but it's always going to do a complete and even smooth blending when I want the control of like how fast and slow and where the stops are. You're going to modify the original 3D scale skew transform matrix values individually, so saith Maya. No.
Darling,
You gotta scale it.
darling,
That's the one really cool thing about Source Filmmaker is it scales so nice.
Books?
Scaling up and down, like sizes?
Size, yeah.
No.
You can make big horse or little horse.
You have to modify the way it does lighting.
Who pays attention to lighting?
So when I'm up really, really close to an object, it's utilizing the lights, shadow depth bias, and a lot of stuff to hide shadows that are really close to the edges of vertices, basically smoothing out a lot of these edges so you don't see some of those imperfections. The problem is when a model starts getting really, really big, those imperfections start going beyond that value. So if I make her really big, you start seeing some of those imperfections in some of these, and you'll start seeing the vertices on the model. And the bigger you make them,
super rarity.
the more and more visible it becomes that she is a bunch of polygons and not rounded edges. So the scaling works, but only to a degree. Things start breaking down a bit, especially boop.
Oh no.
And if you don't lock the mains, any jiggle bones will collapse in on themselves. So
Become cool.
the scaling works nice, but within reason. Any trying to break the limits of like going beyond a 10 times scale is gonna have problems. Can have an army of giant derpies. Yeah, I don't think he cares if it's like Boxler or not. If you had to choose between Rainbow Dash and Luna, who would you choose? Well, one of them has a much longer name. That means they're better.
Princess Luna does have a longer name than Rainbow Dash.
No, Princess is a title.
Search for her name.
Well, what is she? Okay, so she's Miss Rainbow Dash.
Nobody ever calls her Miss Rainbow Dash.
Yeah, but it's part of her title.
Except for, like,
Esquire.
Esquire.
Yes. Miss Rainbow Dash Esquire.
Darling, darling, darling. Darling, darling, darling. Bucks?
Something about blue horses you just can't trust.
Bucks?
I think I can
Bucks?
call this one, or I can call her motion good in terms of going from red to orange, not for green.
Darling? Bucks?
But I need to do Apple Jacks here, so we're gonna just take this here apple horse.
Apples.
Bucks?
Trying to think to myself if we should make steak tomorrow or White Castles. I bet you're thinking White Castles.
I'm thinking steaks because you've already complained about like not having the weekends are your days to cook.
Yeah.
So cook.
I'm gonna cook. I'm gonna put the White Castles in the oven.
You can make them for lunch.
No, there's 16 in a box.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure that as soon as you open the White Castles, it's not like, well, we gotta eat them all now.
Yes, exactly.
Bucks?
I want a big old White
Bucks?
Castle supper.
It's your time to cook, so if it depends if you want to leave the steaks in there until next week.
You can. Now what
What about your beef?
Oh yeah. Really should cook all that.
Yeah, I'm not making White Castles.
You can make the White Castles when I'm not here.
I could.
Good. They'd be
Bucks?
delicious.
Bucks?
White Castles are great. I haven't really wanted White Castles for whatever reason.
Yeah, and you got the frozen ones, which normally I'd be like, what the fuck are you getting the frozen ones for? But they're no different than the normal White Castles. So.
That's not true. They steam them
Well,
at the White Castle place.
At the White... Oh, welcome to White Castle Place.
Yes.
Enjoy your stay.
There are two different kinds of White Castles. There's the White Castles that are actually shaped like a castle, and those are the good ones. And then you have the ones that are like just built into a strip mall. You don't see those super often, but when you do, you see.
I've never seen any in a strip mall. We barely have any White Castles to begin with. I don't think we have any in a strip mall.
The only one I saw around here is like the proper castle.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, there's somebody's like, I'm going to open up a White Castle in an old laundromat. It's just like, oh no.
I've never seen that in Minnesota.
Yeah. It happens. But no, most of the White Castles are pretty good about building. Back at where I'm from, like, there's a lot of fast food restaurants that just go out of business because they just can't compete for whatever reason.
McDonald's is cheaper.
That's part of it. But I just remember, like, an old Wendy's turning into a Chinese restaurant at one point, and then, like, a cupcake restaurant at another, like, a bakery. But it was always still the same Wendy's building. So, it was always
There was a place that they were a moving company, but they moved into a car wash.
Yeah.
And so it had a bunch of these stalls all the way across, and they just parked their vans there. But it was definitely not made to be a moving company. I've seen some of like that. Gas stations that have pizzeria moved in.
Yeah.
And so they had the whole thing that came out over the top where they don't really have the pumps. Mm-hmm. But there wasn't pumps. It was just an entrance for a pizzeria.
Why not?
Yeah. You got to really F up to like have your gas company or
gas station.
Gas station go out of business. And it wasn't a small one; it was like a fairly big name.
I don't know. It's just you get off an exit, and then there's always like 4 gas stations and some exits, and they're all competing.
This whole SFM is just like Pokemon. Kinda. I could see that.
How is this?
I came back to see giant rarity. That sounds like a positive. That's after access for add blur till you can't tell. The blur, the motion blur for SFM is a poor implementation. I don't like how it works, but removing it completely looks overly choppy. But you can't reduce motion blur in SFM to a very small value. So the motion blur in SFM works based off of the shutter speed here. So right now I am running it for a 30 FPS video, which so 0.0167 is the standard value for a 30 FPS video. It would be 0.0208 if it was 24 frames per second, and 0.0083 if it was a 60 frames per second. But anything below like 0.006 or 7, it just shuts it off completely. So you can only get motion blur to work effectively for down to 60 FPS, but it just doesn't even work right at the others. So, and that's it. The normal math for shutter speed should be 1 over double your frame rate. So if I'm at 30 FPS, it should be 1 over 60, which is where 0.0167 comes in. But it's just SFM's implementation doesn't feel right, doesn't work right, and you can't get it to work right. I think the next version of SFM works better, but you guys should animate in Blender. No,
guys.
I like the simplicity that SFM offers. I know how to use SFM. I like making videos, not animations. So if I were to go learn Blender, it would be to do a whole new thing. I would have to, like, all these models and everything would have to be ported to work over there. My render times would be horrendous. I would be making a lot less videos, and that's what I'm trying to do. So, well, would I have an increase in quality? Sure, but if I'm making only one thing every, like, 2 years, it's just not worth it.
Mm-hmm. The vast majority of Pony stuff's on Source Filmmaker, so
I can put together crap super quick on here compared to, and my render times are like overnight instead of weeks. Like, what was it? Creator of Pony. When he did the Rainbow Dash Awesome as a Wannabe animation, it was only like 30 seconds or something, and he had to render farm it by utilizing other people's computers to help him actually complete it. So it was a group of people trying to get it rendered within any decent amount of time. I'm not doing that. It's a better software for sure. It has some things that work better, but I'm not gonna go there.
Its primary advantage right now is that it's 64 bit as opposed to 32, which Source Filmmaker can do. Source Filmmaker 2. Yeah,
Source Filmmaker 2, because right now SFM has a limit. I can't use anything more than like 3.3 gigs of RAM. That's why this is already going red at 2.6, because as soon as I hit about 3.4 or a little bit more, it will crash because it ran out of RAM because it's 32-bit software. As Source Filmmaker 2, which is out, you can use it. There's just issues where I can't. I tried. I had it at 9 gigs of RAM, and I was still running it perfectly fine. I was loading models to the point of I could no longer function just because I had so much crap loaded that my computer couldn't handle it, and it was still running. So I'm not worried about it.
Really, they just need this, but 64-bit.
I ever thought which firearm would you best represent each character? Oh God, that's guns and ponies. They're horses. They don't shoot things unless it's fought Equestria. Then it's okay. How long do you think it'll take the S2FM team to get S2FM ready for people like you to start switching over to it? You can right now. The holdup is
can't port the models properly.
Is flexes. So all these flexes for making their mouths do, the that stuff, they don't port. So I originally tried with Rathlos. I got the model to port. I had all the bones and the rig, and that all worked. I just couldn't get any of the facial flexes to work. I could have modified his original files to maybe work with S2FM, but why I would lose access to all of my libraries and all of my content. I have too much invested in the normal one right now that I don't have tools to move any of it there in any decent manner, it would be a huge roadblock. And just for increasing some lighting, it's a significantly better lighting and better functionality, but library is one of my big benefits. And I don't think you get material overrides yet. That is also material overrides are my bread and butter for a lot of stuff. I need to get rid of eyebrows and there's no bone. Okay, well, let's material override them off or something, or need to modify a hue. Material overrides are powerful. Argo is about telling a story joke, then the animation itself is the ideas behind the animation, not the animation. Sure, I have ideas. My idea, I'm having horses say single words and then having Fluttershy say fuck. Ideas.
It's a good idea. I like it. I have ideas that are dumb, but I have to get good. The books.
Okay, so
Oh, Double Twilight.
the Eye of Sauron.
Oh no. Yeah, Source. I imagine Source Filmmaker 2 will get its next big update when Valve releases another game using the Source 2 engine. Which, fingers crossed, is Half-Life 3. But
The Source 2 engine runs. It's just, I think they were like, this is taking too long. Let's get something out there.
yeah, they managed to make the game they wanted to make, and they provided one of the tools to help make it for everybody to use. But the tool was haphazard at best when that game came out. Why? Right. I imagine it'll be far more refined when the next game comes out. Why you do this? First you hurt horse, and then you give it my crap raspy voice. Fix her face. Fix her snoot.
No. This is my life now.
I need more booze. You still have booze. It's not fair.
You out of booze?
No, I have more booze.
Oh, I have more booze in my cup.
Yeah, you have more booze in your cup.
Oh, I thought you meant like I'm out of booze.
Here. Like I have, I got a whole like bottle and a half of whiskey up there.
You finished your Arbor Mist?
Yeah. I drank that during the last video game stream. I think. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, Michael bought Arbor Mist. The podcast actually covers, I think, not the last one, the most recent, but the one from before covered why he bought Arbor Mist.
It looked tasty. I didn't know what it was.
No.
It's
juicy juice.
It's basically juicy juice. But with a 5% alcohol level. So, which is higher than like a wine cooler. So.
Yeah, well, these are... So this is funny. So there's two beers that I got. They're like 5-something%, but the Mexican honey that I like getting is 8%. Mm-hmm. So I always wondered why, like, I drink one thing of that and I'm like, oh.
I think 8% is about as high as you can get on beer before it starts being categorized as a wine.
Yeah, probably.
Like at a certain point,
wine. I think
mine is like 12%.
Yeah, but wine's probably other properties that call it wine.
Well, like, you could have like mead, which is going to be 5 to 8%.
Yeah, but mead is because of it's what it's made out of.
Yeah.
Yeah, so wine is probably not.
Well, you can have a honey wine, but that's just because they fermented it to 12% or higher. Roughly that. The difference between mead and a honey wine is just alcohol content.
Because it is, or because that's what you've observed?
That's what I've observed.
Then you're making assumptions.
Well, I've never seen a honey-based alcoholic beverage that was above 10% not called wine.
Let's see here. Motion blur is set to static value, like regardless of frame rate. Its frame rate and shutter speed determine your your shutter speed determines your motion blur completely. You could have the motion blur of a 30 FPS and run it at 60. You'd just be sloshy. So the shutter speed 100% controls it. It is separate from frame rate. Most of Argo's ideas come from Michael, kind of. What does that mean? Argo's talent is Michael. Does Argo have a tattoo of Michael's pog face on his butt? That's weird. Kiss my ass, Michael.
I'll be kissing myself, apparently.
Guessing I already know the answer, but can you render motion vector passes out of SFM? No. Okay. Zero. Are you able to talk and the model automatically lip syncs for you? No. So there used to be a function that you could right click these, say, I can't, oh god, it's been forever since I've actually done this.
That would be something cool to have in Source 2, though. It would be an automatic lip sync thing.
The ponies had one. I'd have to remember how to do it, but there used to be a script you could load that would automatically load phonemes onto the model. So phonemes are where certain sounds, they would have a pre-made facial shape, and it would read that audio file and try to determine what phoneme is required at that time. Did it work? Yeah, it worked. Did it look good? No. It opened the mouth, but was only right maybe half the time. It was really bad. It was, I used it early on as a base to start from, but ended up that you just redo all of it. So I just don't do it anymore. I just can't, I cannot remember how to load that.
It's been so long.
It's been really long. Oh, yeah. I'd have to look into it again. But there used to be a tool you could do that. So it wasn't that you would speak and they would move. That's like VR chat or something like that, or face rig, and that functionality is not here. But I could record myself and kind of do it.
Really?
Apparently, chew off is a sex-based term.
Yes, apparently. Like, I'm looking at it like, how though?
I mean, I guess.
I mean, only in the worst of cases.
Every time I look up, I see stupid stuff. I'm not surprised anymore. Thank you. That's my life.
Mm-hmm. Every day I come downstairs, he's like, oh, stupid stuff. He says that. It's very hurtful.
That's good to know. Well, I just allowed it now because I don't really consider that sex-based. It came over the warning saying, this person stated a sex-based term, chew off. If it was out. Yeah, but probably a rig script, kind of like the body group animation script. Probably the the body group animation script, I think, is kind of, it's loading it as a rig, but I think that's almost like utilizing the rig function to just force load scripts onto something. It's probably loading those bones as a rig, and by like utilizing some system for it. It's goofy, but I love that script. I'm not complaining about it. Okay, I think I got that timing down now. Except for I need to, and she's like, I see your already. But apple. Okay. Apple.
Have to choose. The choice is yours and yours alone.
There can only be one.
Too much worse.
Out. No, I need to in. I had that right. Okay. I need to have her eyes switching at about the midpoint. Right about here. Yeah, that's better. It's just easier that way. Okay. Now we're gonna close her eyes. Okay, so she's looking that way. Now I'm gonna give her her little dippy dip. Out of soda.
No. I still have some soda. I just want to drink whiskey.
Skip all that sugar stuff. Go right for the hard stuff.
It's tasty. I have about roughly the same amount as you have.
Mine's beer. Yours is like 40%.
Yeah. I think there was a lot of water. So,
Some people like having a little water with the whiskey.
meh.
Or putting an ice cube in there.
Nice
Or
cube, maybe.
A metal ice cube.
Yeah.
Which I have.
You do?
Let's get some ideas.
Oh boy.
Could be something British. It sounds British sexy. Chew off. Oi! Bloody chew it off. Oh no. Stupid face. How can you drink and animate?
That is a good question. If I was doing this, there's no way I could. If I was even attempting this, there's no way I could be drinking.
There's I can show you this once it pops up here.
The secret of drink animating.
It's right here.
No,
Because I don't need to think.
I haven't thought in years.
Well, and I've only had three beers, but they're
Two.
no. I put two of I had that can there because I can't fill this whole thing with two. I had a little left over, so I drank it from the can. So I've had three, and they're like 5%. But no, I could be pretty toasted and probably still do this just because I don't have to think. I wouldn't make it.
No, I know when you get too toasted to continue animating, you start showing off like your Twitter page or something.
No, it's just anything that makes things funny. I'll get it in a second. I just want to. I'm kind of in the middle of this motion. I just want to make sure I get it finished here.
The whiskey went down the wrong pipe. One moment. I will survive. Whiskey, you're not supposed to breathe whiskey.
Sure.
That's what I've been told.
Don't like how that motion ends up being.
She's like a big piece of purple taffy. It's wonderful.
That's better. Okay, so yeah, we'll get into that in a sec. Some of these motions I want to make sure I get in the vision in my head first.
So, of these three horses, which is the cutest? Putting you on the spot, you have to pick.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah. No, not she does. You can't.
You said which of these three horses? I said this one.
That's not one of the three. She
Yes,
is pretty
it
cute
is.
though. Like, look at that snoot. That's a good snoot too. Yeah, that's. Eh. I mean, any boop.
It's her
in the
soul.
store. It's very textury. I'm just so excited. She gonna say awesome.
Awesome!
It doesn't even mouth doesn't even move.
She's just
Awesome.
awesome.
It's much better here.
Awesome!
Or just this.
She's so happy. That's the best part.
So happy.
Uncontrollable urge to boop. Yes, it is a powerful boop need. He's like a radar system, but for explicits. Sure, I'm glad I can't hear that. There you go.
It's like some beatbox with this.
It's like a car. He's just putting along. It's John's car. His wrist tells him things. I don't question it.
So happy. She's getting stronger. She's getting very strong. She's sending a telegram.
How happy she is.
She's barking.
She's saying buck.
Gun. Oh, I need that. Okay.
I do like your Ponyville. It is very detailed.
It's Ponyville.
Yeah, but I found a map of this Ponyville and it's not nearly as nice as this Ponyville.
It's all scene build.
Yeah.
So every Ponyville is different. Her Fs are accelerating. They're becoming faster.
You like using the like the mayor building a lot, just as a focal point in the background. You know, there's
It's more of because if I keep using just these buildings, like say I just did this, it just starts feeling copy paste. So I want something different. So this building's a little different.
I mean, that building should
This
be
building's
Sugar Cube
different.
Corner, but who's counting?
Sugar Cube Corner to me stands out too much. So I want something that it varies without being a slap. This isn't. It's all the same coloration. Sugar Cube Corner is suddenly somebody barfed pink in the middle of the village.
At least it's not the castle. In the middle of the village. The tree was better. I said it. Stand by it. Oh, derpies, yes. New derpies. Look at her face. See, that's a good booper. That's a good snoop. There's just water under everything. No, where's she going? She is one with the ether now. No. No. Feels like she's phasing through dimensions. He will throw swords at you. It probably won't go well. No. You wobbly derpy. Look at her whoop. She's got the whipples. Oh, what happened? There's zoo wibble. Derpies wibble, but they won't fall down.
It's a good derpy.
That's a good derps. That is definitely a not salmon.
Look at that derpy. She's so good.
You should post that to the derps. Derps of boars.
We'll post it to the derpy chat.
Well, somebody else posted a derpy while I wasn't looking. But I don't know what it is because
I think it's
just loading
start up
forever.
the stream. Yeah, I had to think. Oh, that's NC Mares. How old is
No.
that?
Is it?
Oh, that one.
I've seen that. It's
There
good,
we go. That's look at you. These are so similar.
Yes.
You guys are.
Yay, water derp. No, they're already piling in. They look at the derps. Derpy is postponing. That's why she gets her own chat.
Fluttershy's fertility service. Fluttershy was wearing a cheerleader outfit, screaming "fuck" while standing next to the bed.
That
Oh,
is explicit.
yes. Okay, there's Derpy now. Okay, so we're going to.
Was Whippity Derpy not enough? I need more Derpy. when you... NC is awesome. I don't know if they still do a lot. I know, I was kind of surprised. One of my favorite artists, Captain Pudge Muffin, recently did a pony picture. So, they changed their name to Pudge something, like Pudge Wedge or something. But it's definitely still their art. I don't know if you saw the one that was like the Rainbow Dash in a bag. It's pretty cute. Oh no. So much dirt. She's gonna generate electricity. A coil of derps.
Exact.
Pretty close.
Okay, so now there's all the derps.
Mm-hmm. As it should be.
It's already off, Jesus. Oh, it's only because I have all selected.
I don't care for ponies anymore, for many years actually, but I admire people who still do care. Well, cool. I find a very simplistic joy in horses. It's not complicated. I like having something that just fills me with the smiles and isn't convoluted or anyway. Like, there are other things I enjoy, but they're not the simplicity. It's weird. Or maybe it's not. I don't know.
Okay, so
Yes.
here you go.
Books. Party! Awesome!
Yes. Look at it go.
Awesome!
Get the derps.
Awesome.
There they go. I like how derpy is in every one of your videos now, but it's all in like the WTF files. There's derpies everywhere. I'm just gonna have to do a compilation of these sometime. All these WTF
Awesome!
stuff.
Look at them go.
They're charting.
Okay. We know what else would be really cool.
More derpies?
Okay, so this is the derbies, right?
Mm-hmm. No. What are you doing?
Synchronized derps.
It's trippy.
Back to derps.
Yay, derps. Oh no. Something broke. They grew fangs. Angry derps.
They want that booty.
They do appear to be grabbing.
This is the Ouroboros of derp.
His...
Awesome!
No.
Awesome.
Awesome!
Now this is where it's probably going to go wrong. They're all a little different.
Awesome!
I grab all of them and I just like do the local.
Awesome!
Let them all go.
His computer's not gonna overheat midnight. He's got like the space computer.
And SFM is so low, everything. Nothing in my computer can overheat. Even if it was running at 100%, everything constantly, it's not going to overheat. Well, for one, everything can thermal throttle if it was going to get to that point. But CPU, this software is never going to overuse it. Graphics card, no. It's probably not that it's being limited by processing power. It's being limited by engine.
You have a pretty nice computer. I was saddened when your computer got better than mine. For a while there, my computer was better. Mine was all powerful.
And now it isn't.
Yeah, I have been reduced. I ain't really curious on upgrading until the market kind of...
I didn't think upgrading my
itself.
processor would actually make that much of a difference, but it made a significant difference for frame rates.
You got a whole new motherboard and everything, didn't you?
Yeah. But before I had a really cheap motherboard and I have a nicer motherboard. I had a mid-grade processor. Now I have a top-end processor. But the main thing was I just a lot of games I was playing that were being CPU limited. So as soon as because they weren't like intense, but they were then being frame limited because the higher frame rate you get, the more it goes in the CPU. And as soon as I switched to it, some games I was playing at 100, 110 jumped up to like 250 just because it was being limited by CPU. So it helped a lot. 3080 is nice and everything, but the CPU has helped unlock the potential of the 3080 as well.
64 gigabytes.
Hello, Shaman. The best wheel in the world. Wheel of the heaven. Well, if that's the wheel that brings me to heaven, I don't know if I want to get on board. That's kind of scary.
Mm-hmm.
Books. Apples, darling, books.
The way she says books
Is this
the best.
There's no reason to ever change that any of
Apples,
his audio
darling.
files because they just come across so perfect. Books.
I might even move this a little bit more that way. So it's...
Apples,
Yeah.
apples.
Oh, I must accidentally drag that. There. This seems a little bit long for this shot beforehand, but I'm thinking there's a reason.
I can't imagine needing
darling.
64 gigabytes of RAM for anything.
It depends. So I have 64 gigs of DDR4 as well. I'd consider moving to DDR5 for my current build, but I didn't want to pay for the RAM. So, and I already had 64 gigs as DDR4. No, if you're doing like After Effects, you cannot do a live preview. You have to do a RAM preview, which means you hit play and it will basically build all the frames. It will hold it in RAM. So how much I can preview is determined by how much RAM I have. So when you're playing with 4K footage, even at like a fourth or a fourth video that's 1080p at full render, I could only preview like a minute before it would cap out at 32. Now I can preview 2 minutes because 64. So it has uses. That's why I went to 64, because it came in handy, and because I got a 4K camera and I wanted to be able to preview better on some of that stuff, and I was getting a little bit limited on 32. And for the RAM I had, it was like $120 to upgrade to 64. I already had 2 sticks of 32, or 2 sticks of 16 each, so I just bought 2 more sticks of 16 at the exact same model. So it wasn't like I was having to replace all 4 sticks or anything.
Yeah, I have 32 on my computer still.
4 sticks?
2.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you have the ability to upgrade, but really, yeah, 32...
I don't need
Why are you
to.
even saying 32? For what you do, 32 is already overkill.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, 32, unless you're doing content creation, 16 is the sweet spot.
I do content creation, just not the same content.
Probably not to where it's going to be useful.
No.
But yeah, I have a 3080. I got really lucky. Oh god, I've had it for a year now. Just about a year. I got about a year ago. Got really lucky on a Best Buy purchase. I also got a 3060 that I have. That's actually doing the encoding for the stream. That's all done. I got that about 2 months afterwards. I've been trying to get a 3070 for Mitch, a friend of mine, but I haven't had any luck. and
Damn darn Bitcoin miners.
yeah, and then I have a 5950 for my main processor. I almost went 5900, and I was kind of 50-50 on it, and I just decided to go on it. I basically can render 4K videos now on just my processor instead of using my graphics card. It's slightly better quality, takes a bit longer, but about half as long as it would have taken on my old processor. So, and actually, if I wanted to now, I could stream off of this processor. I could dedicate like half the cores to doing streaming and the other half to computer running, which before I couldn't do. That's why I had to get a stream PC. Now I technically don't really need to because the processor's kind of beast.
Books.
Yeah. Nah, I just have a 2070 Super. I'm a bum.
You have a 1660. You put in the anesthetic back from the 3070 Ti that came in. Actually, I did the same thing when I got my 3080. I had a 1080 Ti. I put that in the anti-static bag from the 3080, and actually one of the guys on stream that lives local, he popped up at a local meetup and he bought it from me. So I actually got rid of it too. So that was nice. There's that fear that if my computer kind of like craps out, like the graphics card craps or something, yeah, that kind of oops, that's gonna suck. Because that's why I don't mind as a, so I do have a Ethereum miner here, but I actually have it running at 50%. So I'm not.
What is it running right now?
No.
No.
But I have it. Oh, no, I can't open it because it has my wallet on it. But it's 50 and 75. I used to run it at 100%, but it would run my memory unless I did some tweaking on stuff. It'd run my memory at like 100 Celsius, which is safe-ish, but not for good for longevity. So I have it run at about 50% when anytime my computer is going to be on and not me doing anything.
I would not run anything at 100 degrees Celsius.
No, DDR5X or 6X memory, it actually doesn't thermal throttle until 100 and is safe to 110 to 115.
It might be safe, but you're going to kill the longevity of it.
Yeah, that's why I dropped that. If I ran it 100%, I was able to get it down to about 95. With running at 50%, it's about 87, which is...
That's safer.
No, that's perfectly safe.
Yeah.
Range. It's rated to run at the higher. Gaming, it'll run in the 90s.
Once you push past like 95, I'm going to start like making cringe faces a little bit.
But the idea I had on it was I don't run it overnight when doing any of the mining because I'm burning all the energy of the computer to do that. But if I'm going to say walk away from my computer for an hour and a half to 2 hours to go do something and then come back, I'm not going to shut down my whole computer in that time, which means it's sitting idle, and idle is pulling energy. So if I run that at 50%, it's just burning a little bit more than that. I did the math on it, and it's probably doubling my energy consumption, but at full 100%, it was like triple to 4 times as much. So it's only using a bit more for utilizing some of the downtime energy that I would just be burning for doing nothing to utilize it for making a little on the side. So yeah, it's just I had to play around and tweak it a little bit to make it all work, but I don't mind running. It's just when it was at 100%, I had to have my fans at like 85% to keep it cool on the memory, which is way faster than you want to run those fans at that kind of consistent rate.
If I want to make some money on the side, I just go through your couch to find loose change.
See, I'm not that tech savvy at all about that much about computers. It's just over time. I've been doing it for over a decade. You just learn. Doesn't seem like you're one of those guys who just bots all the GPUs up at retail to run a mining farm and only mine with one PC. No, yeah, it's more of I have it there. Why not utilize it? But I'm not going to utilize it for that purpose specifically unless it's... Because if it's sitting and it's pulling 100 watts or 100 watts just sitting idle, and if I run the miner and it runs up to 200, that's different than me, because then I'm only using 100 watts technically of extra energy, because it would have just been sitting idle at 100 anyway. But if I were to run it overnight at 100%, saying pulling 350 to 400 watts for my whole computer, now I'm pulling 350 to 400 extra on top of everything instead of 100. So
could just
that's
turn off
different.
your PC when you go to bed.
No, I do when I go to bed. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
When I go to bed, I shut it off, because if I don't, then everything is going towards the mining. But it's if I'm going to sit idle. Say I start my computer in the morning, and then I go do work stuff.
Why don't you just keep your computer off while you go to work stuff?
Because I don't see a need to. Because it's like if I have lunch, then I can come and poke around on my computer. I'm not just going to keep turning it on and off. So it's about sitting idle. So I'm just using idle time. You make significantly more than the electricity costs. So
Yeah. If I leave the house for any reason, shut off the computer. Even if it's just to go to the store real quick.
you just put it to sleep.
It eats up less power if I just turn it off. Like, whoa.
She's making this sound.
He's just looking back and forth. Whoa.
It's like an old 8-bit video game. Okay, it's gonna be. It wasn't.
That's amazing.
Slim.
I can't hear any of this. ASMR.
Michael ASMR win. No, I don't know if you'd want that.
What's an ASMR? I'm an old man.
He just boomered.
A little bit.
Okay, something sensory, blah, 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 whatever. It's basically where you get really close to the mic and you speak really quietly.
Oh, that's when, like, yeah, I remember now.
It's basically
like
it's basically sexualizing anything you're doing.
I think I remember seeing a Fluttershy picture where it was like it was tagged with like ASMR, and it's like you're a sick animal. And Fluttershy was like, oh, poor little thing. It was cute. It's just a picture though. I know things. Kids need to
Whisper tell a story and talk to the audience with whispers or crinkle stuff in the mic. Yeah, it's about doing really, really soft noises really loudly. Like by getting, but not by being loud about it, by getting really close to the mic and making those. It's about getting people's hair to rise on their arm and to give that like skin rising weird chill.
I used to play this one clip from Pawn Stars where this guy would just talk about cufflinks. Like he would just ramble on about cufflinks, and for whatever reason, that would always give me goosebumps. Like I would just play it over and over again.
So you have
the episode
cufflink like fantasy.
It's just this one guy. I don't care about cufflinks.
Okay, you have a cufflink fantasy with this one guy.
He was so passionate about cufflinks. It just gave me like the good feels. I remember
you just watching him repeat, like, "Oh yeah, give me the good stuff."
I just had it running over and over and over again, and I would listen to it for hours. Just listen to this guy talk about cufflinks over and over again. I even remember the name of the episode was Peaches and Pinups. Like, that is, like, burned into my memory.
That is getting really weird. I'm locking my door from now on.
Just don't get any cufflinks and talk about them. Apparently. Like, I don't care about cufflinks at all, but for whatever reason, listening to this guy talk about cufflinks just gave me, like, all the good feels. It was weird.
I just realized I forgot one thing on this part. She does close her eyes, so I gotta do her eye drop.
Never had a video you watched that gave you like goosebump feels?
Yeah, sure, randomly, but I don't think I've ever like bookmarked it so that I can watch a guy talk about cufflinks for 4 hours. So, that sounds like a PonyCon panel name. Yeah, probably at the 18+ room.
Yeah.
Like, I'm thinking the apple butter. There's no Peach's character.
Yeah, I don't think there is. Not that I.
Not that.
No, there was a Peach character. She was one of the foals.
Oh.
I remember in.
Yeah, that gets then no.
In
That's
in
gonna-
Fallout Equestria, she was the first one to become one of those tentacle monsters.
Oh, that makes more sense.
Yeah,
So it's pinup of tentacle monsters.
like she was a foal in Fallout in the show, and then she became a tentacle monster in Fallout Equestria because Fallout Equestria is dark. But it was Peach's something. It was like Peach's Sunrise or something. I don't remember. Peach Pie, I think. Peachy Pie. It was Peachy Pie. I remembered. You got the wiggle. No. Like, Twilight's color just, like, makes her look more like taffy than the other ponies. Fears. Yes, she has wiggly holes.
There's just some complex motions, but thankfully, the foot's not on the ground, so actually that still turned out pretty good. So this is again where she hits her peak of her motion here. So I want to have her bounce back a little bit. So I'm just going to find the middle of her drop here, and I'm just going to steal a little bit of it. I'm going to grab a little bit, but then I'm going to offset her head to go back to its old position. So, oh, I guess I could actually just add her head motion in here too. Okay, and have her head drop a little bit, and then have her head go up a little bit. A little faster.
Sunset, my only thought is, it's a good thing that Luster Dawn never became the main character of My Little Pony. Because everybody would have just called her Lust. So naming is important. She was like the student at the very end of the show. Spoilers if you haven't seen it, but it's been like 3 years now?
Still not in the window. Pony shall never be spoiled.
No. 10 years from now. Princess Luna is Nightmare Moves. Spoilers.
I did not know.
No.
You ruined it.
You can spoil Pony Life all you want because nobody cares.
Is there anything to spoil?
Not really.
They drink potions.
They drink potions that they found randomly, which is the funniest thing of the whole thing. It's just like I legit watched an episode where they were just like, who leaves these potions here? I thought you did. I thought you did. It's like, oh, nope, we just been drinking random crap we found in a cabinet. And it's just like, wow, that's not what you want to teach children at all. Like, I found some random liquids in a cabinet. We should drink them. Because it'll give us magic powers.
Children, have you ever went into your parents' cabinet?
Yes. Find the magic potion.
The best ones have the yuck sticker on it. Don't do that.
No. No. Pony Life was just weird.
Is the yuck sticker still a thing?
The yuck sticker?
Yeah.
I remember the yuck sticker.
They get it to you in like elementary school. It was a sticker with like a face, and especially the kids were to bring it home and give it to their parents, and they would go with their parents to put yuck on the things that they shouldn't drink.
Our school never did that.
Yeah, which I thought was funny because you were smart enough to tell the kid to go home and give them the sticker, but apparently not smart enough to think that they wouldn't drink bleach.
Bleach is delicious.
So it was funny, but it was also about trying to teach kids these are the things you shouldn't touch, which kind of makes sense, but you're putting it in the hands of the kid to figure that stuff out. But also when these kids start getting rebellious and then they're like, how about Tide Pods? And they're like, let's eat them. So maybe it goes the other way.
And I'd be terrified to keep any kind of cleaning stuff around the house. That would kill the kid. Like Windex probably isn't going to kill the kid.
I don't know. Let's not try
Like,
it.
it's probably going to give him some wicked diarrhea.
The only way to know is to just let him go at it.
Yes.
Like this is the test, kids.
Like
When
this-
80% of children survive. Or no, if it said like 83%, when it has some awkward number that any way around it requires that many children died.
Like, I don't think I would, like... If I had kids around the house, I'd be pretty cautious about what I brought in that they could get a hold of. Like, Windex would probably be fine, some really low-end cleaners, but like Drano or like bleach, that would get a little bit I would be concerned. Like, a kid can eat a Tide Pod and they'll just spit it back out, but like...
No, well, no,
fine.
eating a Tide Pod is not the same. If they consume it completely, they're in trouble.
They're probably gonna get like explosive diarrhea. You know?
No, they can kill them.
It's just soap.
The Tide Pods?
Yeah.
No, there's it can do some severe damage. It's detergent, not just
Yeah.
soap.
Yeah.
It's going to then completely start consuming everything. It's going to kill all your bacteria in your stomach.
Yeah, almost certainly.
Yeah, and probably your intestines. And that they're going to be doing some what do they call that? Poop fecal transplants to try to get your your biome moving again.
Yeah.
No, it's a bad thing. It's very bad. Don't do that.
It wouldn't burn a hole in your esophagus like Drano or bleach would. Those would be super scary.
A lot of those are like Drano's main thing is expanding, so it's kind of like thinking of like
It's an acid.
yeah, but then it's gonna go like foam up. So then if it foams up enough, you choke and why do you always bring up positive topics?
Bring this up.
Yeah, you did.
I just remember I just became a part of this conversation.
Yeah, and then you're like, how about death?
How about that?
She's like, what's the word? What's the word, Twilight?
Just trying so hard.
You can do it, Twilight. You can do it. Yeah, you did it.
It's horrifying, Sunset.
She mixed up all the medication in the medicine cabinet with Kool-Aid once, tried to convince me it was cough syrup. This is attempted murder.
Yeah.
Alexa, give me a challenge. Okay, stick a plug in halfway through. Yeah, I heard about that thing. That was stupid.
Oh, with the penny?
Well, it's, a kid basically telling a kid to shove something in an outlet. This is why sometimes when you have like algorithms determine content, that it's a little scary.
Well, I didn't need the internet to do stupid crap when I was a kid. Oh, speaking of electrical plugs, I do have one really dumb story. You see, I found a cut plug, right, for an electrical outlet. Like it was just it was a plug, and the end was cut, and there was exposed wires, right?
Thank you for the sub, Shane. Thank you very much.
Well, I told myself I knew how to make a laser gun. So I glued a bunch of washers together and put a light bulb at the end and made it gun-shaped. And then I glued the electrical plug to it. And I was gonna plug it into the wall. But the better part of my brain told me not to, as I argued with my siblings about whether or not we should do it or who should do it.
But then you all work against each other and eventually do it.
No, we didn't do it.
Oh, okay.
We kept it to the side, and then we eventually decided it was a bad idea. But we did make it. We did make a gun-shaped thing from, like, washers that we found that we glued together and then glued an electrical cable to it. It was pretty neat looking. I'm glad we never plugged it in because it would have killed the heck out of us. Hindsight.
I don't think it's needed.
My
Okay,
parents did
but,
not watch us.
But we are done for today. We are at our 9 o'clock time limit. So, did get quite a bit done, actually. Got Rarity mostly done, and then the next one kind of started, along with some other stupid stuff. So that's good. No, not Sam. So that is good. So thank you guys for hanging out. We'll be back Sunday. We're going to be doing... Oh, hello, that's me.
That is you.
There we
You're
go.
like-
We're going to pause me. We're going to be probably doing Dead by Daylight. We haven't done that. I've been trying to do it like once a month because it's just super fun and entertaining. So we're probably going to be doing that Sunday, and then we'll be back doing this next week. Nothing should be in the way for doing that. So... but yeah, let me. So I see two people streaming. Silverco's doing some anime double desu.
Looks like he's doing a talk show.
Yeah, well, they do that sometimes on Fridays. So, but yeah, Silverco I haven't rated in like a while because he hasn't been on in a while. So let's do that one. The bye peak.
Bye.
Yep. If you want to stick around for some channel points, do so. Silverquill does some cool content. Apparently, is Anime Christie. Oh, yeah, they're talking some anime. So yeah, stick around for that. Otherwise, we'll see you guys later. TrotCon is streaming. Ooh, is TrotCon streaming? Well, I already
Probably doing like a fundraiser.
Yeah, they might be doing a fundraiser of sorts, but you can check that as well. I already hit the one on that, so I'm going to keep it now. So let me switch to Kitty to do the thank yous and stuff. End of stream derp.
Derp. Yay, derp. Thank you, sir.
I'll need your capture up there for this, for video games.
Now.
Thanks, see you guys later. Thank you for the cheers from Nolan and Jurassic and from Squidward for the final ones. Thank you for the follow from Shaman, and thank you for the subs, the resubs from Silver and Knight, and the first time sub from Shaman as well. Thank you very much.
Jurassic said more derps.
So there's definitely more derps. We'll see you guys later. Bye.
Bye.